revenue bills. That's a main story there. Photo of our band, Sumana Kingsford, backbin, Speaker of Parliament. Then the EC chairperson is also on the front page, Madam Jean Mensah. Add guarantor system. MPs against sole use of Ghana card for voter registration. Political analysts, smaller parties agree. Free senior high school policy must focus on skills development. Professor Suman, we had quite a good conversation about this on Friday. And BPA, Bush Sugar Limited, set up 1D1F Sugar Factory. Okay.
Okay, so let me take you to the Ghanaian Times. A big story says this morning, gangsters attack police, seize magazine, mobile phones, and 4 people have been grabbed as a result. Also, we are told Speaker declares Kumewu seat vacant. I'll prioritize party needs, according to Dr. Dufo, and 3 newly passed tax bills to rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis annually.
All right, let me take you to the front page of the Anchor newspaper. Western Region Galamsey superstar grabbed. Irate illegal miners hold police hostage. Troubled officers kneel down, beg for their lives. But gang arrested. The Takwa MP condemns the attack on Golden Star mines. And dying MP, and dying in quote, driven in ambulance to Parliament for do or die voting after a ghastly car accident.
The final says IMF deal, revenue bills passed, last hurdle is bilateral. Eurobond creditors agreement. Also, we are told Karaga MP Dr. Amin Adam supports 600 women with interest-free loans. And Superintendent Efia Tenge leaves police service to head Parliament's Public Affairs Department.
Oh, okay. The front page of the Inquisitor says, Jean and gang suffer ditch on the Ghana card for voter registration interest. And the Stop Press, GRA in crunch meeting over revenue shortfalls. Henry Kwashi is targeting the Ablikuma central seat on the ticket of the NDC. That's what makes it to the front page of the paper.
The new publisher says this morning, Efia Tenge resigns. Also, police team under attack over alleged extortion, gun seized, uniform removed, court remands attackers. Also, something here that says Isla on his mother with ICT hub and a library. And then some story here about other matters of interest.
Front page of the Republic Press. MPs boot Ghana card makes it to the front page. If your Tenga is here, Martin Pebu makes it to the front page of the paper. It says that he has dumped gay people. I don't know what that is about. Chinese investors to build sugar factory in Ghana. Okay. The
Ghanaian Observer says Vice President Bawumia gets a rousing welcome at Methodist Church. Also, something here that says Parliament okays 4 major revenue bills. MPP delegates will make Dr. Bawumia flag bearer, according to Dr. Kokofu. And Ghana gets 2 Jan passport printing machines.
Finally, from me, Bernard, the front page of the BNFT. Key step to IMF deal achieved, but industry cites risk to business. And the Ghanaian publisher goes with what happened in Parliament, but this time from a different angle, from the Speaker's angle. And they're saying, I only followed the rules.
Okay, so let me take you to the final 2 papers. The Chronicle says this morning, minority fail to scupper IMF deal. All 3 revenue bills passed. That's the big story on the front page of the Chronicle. If you go to the New Crusading Guide, the big story says COP Kofi Boakye to pull out from Ghana Police Service. Some other stories on the front pages this morning.
CitiNewsroom.com, Federation of Labour says excessive tax policies will heighten cost of living. Also, Fabag unhappy with MPs for approving 3 new taxes. Meanwhile, Parliament has declared the Kumewu seat vacant as the Speaker. And then there's an analysis of why EC was stopped from making Ghana card the sole document for the 2024 poll. The other story about the Western Region police attack is also on the City Newsroom front page. Meanwhile, Guta is also unhappy with the taxes. Professor Bokpin is commenting on the same. Ricketts Hagan, lots of comments about the parliamentary the approval. And then Volta ECG mobilizes 12 million within 1 week of revenue mobilization. City Business News is also on the taxes and also on Parliament. So I'm not going to repeat the headlines at all. Now, the BOG is cautioning against use of Ghana cedi for bouquets and hampers. So I didn't know that there used to be money hampers, but apparently there is. So the Ghana Bank of Ghana says people should stop this. My job online, ECG owes Bui Power 612 million cedis. Also, Bagwin says, I did nothing wrong. And then Article 71 must be deleted entirely from the Constitution, according to Inusa Fuseini. In City Sports, the big story, not aggressive enough, Dogbe admits after loss to Ramirez. And then Premier League, 2 big coaches sacked. Leicester City have parted ways with Brendan Rodgers, and Chelsea have also parted ways with their coach.
Which guy slept yesterday?
Why are you saying?
They should have fired the man after 5 games. They went, Charlie, we're the 11th now.
Let me give you a quick round of African stories. In Kenya, opposition has suspended the protests and have agreed talks on some demands. South Africa's opposition has also re-elected their leader. So those are 2 big stories on the African continent. So let's get into the details of the parliament discussion.
Okay, Sky can take the revenue bills. I'll take the
EC.
Ghana card.
Okay, so Yao Peteti reporting from Parliament for the Ghanaian Times says this morning 3 newly passed tax bills to rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis annually. Page 13 of the newspaper has that story. Parliament, by a majority decision late Friday night, passed 3 tax bills to help rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis annually to shore up government's revenue portfolio. Now, the passage of the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill, and the Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill is one of the conditions precedent for Ghana to secure a $3 billion International Monetary Fund bailout. Now, the passage of the bills was not without opposition from the minority, who at every point of the legislative processes called for a vote on the bills. In all instances, the caucus lost 136 to 137 votes to the majority in a long sitting which stretched into
a number of reactions. Herald front page says Ghanaian traders in tears after 3 new killer taxes passed. And then if you look at the groups that have been highlighted in the story, a number of them, so Ghana Federation of Labour, GUTA, and then FABAG have all been quoted in various portions of the story, and indeed on citynewsroom.com as having complained about the passage.
And if you go to page 3 of the BNFT, they report it as key step to IMF deal achieved, and then go on to do an analysis of the 3
So let me read
bills.
the 2 reactions quickly. GUTA is saying that the passage of the tax bills will adversely affect businesses. Dr. Joseph Obing bemoaned the implications of the tax approval and said it will affect the rate of tax compliance by businesses because it will be discouraging. It will be a discouraging act to honor. Then Abraham Kumson of the Ghana Federation of Labour says that the overburdening of the manufacturing sector with tax policies will result in widespread unemployment, increased cost of living, and endanger national security. Then the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, led by John Awuni, have also said that the taxes will hurt the beverage sector. Reacting to the passage of the bill, John Awuni said it is disappointing that Ghana's lawmakers disregarded the cry and agitations of people and went ahead to have the bills approved.
Okay, let me take you to the Ghana card side of things.
Yes.
On the front page of the Daily Graphic, Parliament has rejected the Electoral Commission's use of the Ghana card as a source of identification to register people onto the voters' register. The House unanimously recommended to the EC to include the guarantor system to the Public Elections Regulation 2023 before it could present it for consideration. Legislators were of the view that unless and until the challenges confronting the issuance of the Ghana cards were dealt with, using the Ghana card as the only medium of voter registration would negatively impact the electoral roll and therefore deny some qualified persons from registering.
The other angle to this, I think one of the papers captured is that there was an accident involving a member of parliament on his way to parliament to approve this.
One of the papers reported as dying MP.
Yeah, so
the Anchor newspaper puts that story on page 5.
So that was the
MP it says that
for
Nantong Mohammed Hadi Tuferu.
Yes.
To ensure government did not lose its quest to get approval for the passage of 3 fresh taxes, an MPP MP stunned many Ghanaians after he was rushed to the August House in an ambulance to add to their side, even after he was involved in a motor accident. The MP, Mohammed Hadi Tuferu, representing the people of Nantong, had gotten himself in an accident around the GIJ area in Accra while allegedly hurrying to Parliament, which was considering the much rejected new taxes for government.
And was not rushed to Parliament in an ambulance.
He was. How did he get?
He got in via an Uber.
Uber. Yeah. So the pictures I've seen from the accident, it was quite a serious accident. And, only MPs know whether the health officials even certified that it was right to bring him in that state that he was in. because the reports I've seen and the photos I've seen was a very serious accident, right? And I don't know whether they didn't prioritize his life ahead of the vote. But somehow these things seem to be happening a lot where people are brought in to their house. We are told another MP was not well, he had to be brought in just to make up the numbers. We need to have a serious discussion about the way Parliament works. Now, the Speaker is defending his actions.
He says you've only followed the rules.
Yes, so there are two stories on the Speaker. The first one is on City Newsroom, where the Speaker is declaring the Kumewu seat vacant, which is following the death of MP for Kumewu, Philip Basua. Then on my jaw line, the Speaker is saying, I did nothing wrong in relation to the approval of the tax bills, because some people have accused him of sort of the way he handled the rules. Now, Speaker says nothing untoward occurred in the passage of the new tax laws, regardless of the absence of one of the majority side of MPs due to an accident. Now, MP for Nanton Mohammed Tuferu was involved in an accident on his way to the vote. According to the Speaker, he has done nothing untoward by including Mr. Hadi Tuferu in the head count that was carried out on the floor. And I think he distinguished between a head count and a division. If it was a division, then there would have been clarity on who was there and who was not there. But a head count can be manipulated, or we don't even know if the MP was there when the head count was done. So we can discuss that later on the show. Let's get to other stories.
Okay, so the police have quite a number of stories in the news this morning. One of them is on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, which says gangsters attack police. And the story is by Anita Nyakov Yurenchi. And it says 4 persons who allegedly attacked a police patrol team from the Western region have been arrested. Now, the suspects are Kojo Sia, alias Mozi, Emmanuel Mensah, alias Kofi Asamoah, Maxwell Kujo, and Ejabu Haruna Disau. Now, the police are on a manhunt for Kwame Atoasare, Ani, the prime suspect who was still on the run. Now, these were in a statement issued and signed by the director of the Public Affairs Department of the Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Grace Ansa Akrufi, and cited by the Ghanaian Times in Accra. Now, according to the statement, on March 9 this year, the Axim Divisional Police Patrol Team reported an attack on the team by a gang that seized the magazine of a service rifle together with some mobile phones belonging to the police. It said an intelligence operation was immediately launched after the report, which ultimately left to
is it the
arrest
same
of the
video where minors are shown manhandling a policeman?
Yeah, exactly. And then still in the newspapers this morning, we are told that Efia Tenge, a long-time, spokesperson of the Ghana Police Service in various capacities, has resigned. He's left the service after close to 20 years or so, we are told. And we're told that she's headed to Parliament to go and head the Public Affairs Department. That story is on the front page of the Finder
if it's true.
Newspaper page. The story says that the paper says it's on page 13.
So she's replacing Kate Addo?
I don't know the details of that. The story says that Superintendent of Police Elizabeth Efia Tenge, a former public affairs officer of the Accra Regional Police Command, has left the service. She's expected to be announced as the head of the Public Affairs of Parliament. She was the immediate past public relations officer at the Volta Regional Police Command.
All right.
So further details can be.
Let's go to other stories.
Yes, let's talk education a bit. If you go to page 20, Free Senior High School policy must focus on skills development. And there's also a story on the back page of the BNFT I will give you details on. So the chairman of the West African Examinations Council, Professor Ato Suman, has called for reforms in the country's secondary education policy to give young people the opportunity to acquire skills to become national assets for development. He said the Free Senior High School policy in its current form was fraught with skills development challenges, teacher training and orientation difficulties, inadequate resources, and delays in the release of funds to schools. Beyond that, Professor Suman said the budgetary allocation for the Free Senior High School was too lofty to the extent of weakening basic education funding, the foundation of education in the country, hence the need for reform. Now, if you go to the back page of the BNFT, education sector loses 5.7 billion Ghana cedis in 5 years. The education sector has been deprived of 5.7 billion Ghana cedis revenue, key for the provision of infrastructure and the elimination of numerous schools under trees between the period 2018 and 2023, an amount enough to eliminate over 5,400 schools under trees. This is because capping the GET fund, the statutory funding source for the provision of education infrastructure in 2018, has led to the sector losing this amount, which would have been key to the provision of desks, textbooks, and other things.
Well, let's talk about ECG. A couple of stories here. My John Online is talking about the ECG owing WIPA Authority over $600 million. the ECG, maybe Bui to also go on disconnection. Or I don't know.
So to do that, Bui is setting up sugar factory. I'll give you details.
Really? So the Ghana ECG owes Bui Power Authority, managers of the Bui Generation Station, more than $612 million. Mr. Samuel Kofi Jameshi, the CEO, has revealed. He expressed his appointment in the inability of the ECG to pay the authority as the power produced and supplied to the company remained the only problem confronting the operations of the 404 megawatt dam situated in the Banda district. An interview with the media during a visit by Madam Justin Owusu Banahi, the Bruno Half regional minister to the MP to the dam's plant site at Bui, Mr. Jameshi said almost 99% of the power produced by the Bui Power Authority sold to the ECG.
Okay.
Accompanied by some members of the Bono Regional Security Council, as well as the district and municipal chief executives, the regional minister was at the site to acquaint herself with the hydropower. That was when Mr. Jameshi revealed that ECG owes them over $600 million. Now, still on ECG.
Let me just give you the Bui Power Sugar Limited story on page. That story is on page 20 of the Daily Graphic and also on page 8 of the Inquisitor. So there's going to be the establishment of a new factory to produce 60,000 tons of refined sugar a year at Faumine in the Banda district in the Bono region. This is a 1D1F partnership between the Bui Power Authority and Bui Sugar Limited, a Chinese company based on an equity agreement. Under the agreement, BPA has provided 13,000 acres of land as its equity to BSL for the sugarcane plantation. Now, they are saying that they have started work on the construction of the factory. 500 people have already been employed as local for the cultivation of the sugarcane.
Meanwhile, Volta Regional Director of ECG, Volta Regional Directorate of ECG say they've mobilized 12.5 million cedis from their debtors within 1 week of debt collection operation. Just 1 week. The amount realized is the initial target of the 5 million. So they got more than they were targeting. Mr. Benjamin Obientry, regional PRO, disclosed this to the GNA in Ho. Said the second week operation was being finalized.
Okay.
So ECG is collecting the money.
Okay. Bernard, let me take you to two other stories of interest. And those stories are in the Ghanaian Observer. The first one says Ministry of Health gets clearance to employ some 6,387 nurses. The second one talks about Ghana getting 2 new machines for printing of passports. You know, we've had issues with delayed printing of passport booklets. Now, the first one says the Ministry of Finance has granted financial clearance to the Ministry of Health to employ some 6,387 nurses this year. Now, the nurses comprise assistant clinical and nurse assistant preventive who completed in 2019 and June 2020 from various public health training institutions. Now, further approval was also granted to the ministry to utilize the outstanding balance on the previous financial clearance of 3,335 to engage the 2019 degree and diploma referral batch. So if you are interested, please make sure you apply as quickly as you can.
Talk about the passport one.
The passport one is on page 10 of the newspaper. And it says that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration is about to receive 2 giant industrial printing machines in 3 weeks from the World Bank under the Public Sector Reform for Results project. Now, Madam Shelley Ayoko Bochwe, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, said the arrival of these machines would help the Passport Office to clear all outstanding backlogs within a week.
Well, the Bank of Ghana in business news has been urged to save local banks from collapse. This is coming from an analyst with Deloitte Ghana, Dennis Brown. And then also, Bernard, you missed Palm Sunday, yes, but Palm Sunday has been marked on page 24 of
talking about leaves and hampers. The Bank of Ghana is cautioning
against let me read my Palm Sunday story.
I thought you were just mentioning it.
How can I just mention Palm Sunday? A section of the whole Poji de la Cathedral congregation. What is it? Poji de la Cathedral Congregation of the EP Church.
Yes.
A procession here. Avle, behave yourself.
BOG is cautioning against the use of Ghana CD for bouquets and hampers. That's the basic. So now let's do a couple of international and then we'll do sports. So in Kenya, Raila Odinga has suspended his protest and has agreed to talks on demands. This is a Bloomberg Africa story. Kenya's main opposition leader agreed to suspend protest plan for this week and said it would enter talks with government over its demand for electoral reform and steps to reduce the cost of living. Now, Raila Odinga made the concession on Sunday, hours after President William Ruto called for an end to the protest that he said have left 3 people dead and hundreds of others injured. Ruto also called for talks in Parliament to discuss the opposition's grievance about the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. So that's the first story. Then in South Africa, they retained their opposition leader. I know South Africa's politics is funny. John Steenhuisen won a re-election as the leader of South Africa's biggest opposition party, the DA, or Democratic Alliance. Yeah. The internal vote comes as the country prepares for general elections next year. Now, support for DA and the populist opposition party, the EFF, have fallen in recent months, according to a Social Research Foundation poll. The ruling ANC has led the country since 1994.
Okay.
Now, let's come to sports.
Oh, no, I have two stories. One, Burkina Faso has expelled 2 French reporters from Le Mans and Libération.
So Burkina Faso, they and France, they are thing.
Ibrahim Traore says they reported on some story they were not supposed to report on. An execution of some children in a military barracks. So he has dealt with that. And Russia has assumed UN Security Council presidency.
Well,
why are they executing children?
That's a good question. We only got the story of the expulsion. Now, Ghana's Isaac Digwe falls short in his title fight against Robsy Ramirez. And I saw you tweeting about this. Ghana's Isaac Digwe, by unanimous decision, failed in his attempt to become a 2-division world champion, losing to Cuban 2-time Olympic gold medalist Robsy Ramirez. Digwe struggled to find rhythm throughout the bout as he was consistently under attack by the Cuban's power, who was bent on dictating the tempo. And then the details of the fight are given, but the scores was 117, 110, 118, 109, 119, 108, all in favor of Ramirez, who claimed the vacant WBO featherweight title in style.
Very unfortunate.
So Dogbe's loss now brings his record to 24-3. 24 fights, 3 defeats, 15 knockouts.
Okay.
And all 3 defeats coming at the title level.
So 27 fights.
27 fights.
That's some way.
And then in football, 2 teams have, fun thing I read. So I was told that Leicester City were waiting for Chelsea to sack their coach, so that they will sack their coach and appoint the Chelsea coach as their coach. This was last week. So when I heard that Bernard Rodgers had been fired by Leicester, I knew that your guy was going to sack. So so the coach that you say you don't like, Leicester will go for him.
And Chelsea better pray to have a match with Leicester. If
he will win against you,
he'll score you. Score you to.
But why are you not talking about your defeat, though?
No, we drew Hasselhoff. We drew 0-0. I agree.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Your Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Meet Mr. Ansar. He prefers to receive money from his friends and loved ones through the Agricultural Development Bank's remittance services, and his reason is simple.
Oh, for me, my brother lives overseas and he often sends me money. I can access it at any ADB branch nationwide, and what he sends is exactly what I receive. No wahala.
Is that why you prefer ADB's remittance services?
Of course. Well, whether it is Western Union, MoneyGram, ZPay Instant Money, Unity Link, Real Money Transfer, or Transfast, receiving my money through ADB's remittance services is guaranteed. And with some of these services, you can receive the money directly into your ADB account. Do you know what the best part is?
Share with us.
You see, during this Ramadan, Easter and Eid al-Fitr, I'll be receiving money transfers. But I'm not worried because I can receive it at any ADB branch or selected branches on Saturdays and holidays. So my brother, you see, if you go somewhere else and you don't receive payment on time, all I can say is, Woko Hoko, yeah.
Visit any of ADB's 87 networked branches nationwide, whether you are a customer or not, for the best in remittance services. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
A minute to 7, Citi Business News coming up shortly, brought to you by your OMC of choice, Goyle. We now accept Momo for all fuel purchases. Remember to Momo it at Goyle. You can also use your bank card and other bank cards, all bank cards, I should say, to buy fuel at Goyle. Drive to the nearest Goyle station now or go to our social media pages for more information. News also brought to you by MTN. Don't carry multiple phones around. Switch between different numbers on the same phone easily and seamlessly using MTN eSIM. Enjoy the convenience of connecting multiple phone numbers to one single device. Dial stars #06#. Once you receive an EID number, it means your phone or device is compatible. MTN everywhere you go. Michael Obodu is here with the Citi Business News. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN Goyle and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. Coming up, independent power producers threaten to shut down plants over government's debts. Also, business community disappointed over passage of new taxes by Parliament. Now to details of our stories. If the government does not pay the arrears owed to them, the independent power producers, IPPs, have stated they will have no choice but to shut down their plants. The IPPs claim that the government's outstanding debt of more than $1.4 billion is having a negative impact on their operations. According to Dr. Habib Iddrisu, the president of the IPPs, the situation is critical. Citi Business News interviewed him on the matter.
We have some of our members who have already defaulted on their debt servicing. Others are also defaulting by the next month. And if action is not taken, we'll run into some difficulties. Our sources of funds are from the equity markets and the private markets, for which we cannot give any excuse for not able to make repayment when due. Otherwise, when we are constrained, we don't have an option than to pull out the plugs.
That was President of the Independent Power Producers, Dr. Habib Iddrisu. Now, members of the business community have expressed disappointment with Parliament's approval of the government's 3 new revenue tax bills. Parliament on Friday night passed the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2022, the Ghana Revenue Authority Bill 2022, and the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2022. Some, including the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, among others, kicked against the approval of the taxes, adding that it will further stress the already overly taxed businesses. Citi Business News gathers that these stakeholders intend to hold a joint press conference tomorrow to vent their disapproval of the newly passed bills by Parliament. Now, moving on, Futures Global Resources, a mining company, has expressed concerns regarding threats from a group called the Prestia Concerned Citizens to attack their mine in the area. In a letter addressed to the municipal chief executive of the area, the group alleges that the company's operations are obstructing their galamsey activities, which is their primary source of livelihood, and have therefore decided to harm the staff and damage the mine's properties. This incident follows reports of illegal small-scale miners allegedly setting fire to properties belonging to the Golden Star Wassa mines in Benso, causing a temporary halt in the company's operations a few weeks prior. In an interview with Citi Business News, Robert Jamfi, who is the head of stakeholder communications and community engagement at Future Global Resources, stated that while the threats are not new, the company is taking measures to prevent any potential mishaps.
We take it very serious. For us, this is not the first time, but this seems to be the worst of its kind, considering the fact that it's been put in writing and signed up. The threats are well presented. Apart from the demonstration, the fact that they will elicit help from other areas and unleash their violence on the company and our property, staff and security is something that cannot be taken for granted. So what we've done is that we're using history to guide us. So we have initiated processes of protecting our staff and our properties. We are not also sitting idle. Especially the letter was issued 3 days before the very unfortunate attack on the Golden Sawasa Limited. So then clearly we realized that we shouldn't sit and think that it's business as usual threats. This is a real threat, and we are seeking the Ghana Police Service to help apprehend and get the culprits to know that if anything happens to any staff or any of our property, then we know those who will go after.
You heard the head of Stakeholder Communications and Community Engagement Department at Future Global Resources, Robert Jamfi. Now, management of Ghana Stock Exchange have revealed that investors are targeting the equity sides of the security market as an alternative to expand their portfolio. This comes after the equities market experienced some low activity following the recent domestic debt exchange program. Speaking on the issue, Managing Director of the GSE, Bernard Avle, indicated that the significant activity is as a result of the fact that investors on the local base want a safe portfolio to invest in, and equities market is providing that.
The investors everywhere are looking for diversification. Goes to show you that our investors are again looking at the equities asset class. So there's been a lot of interest in MTN shares. There's been a lot of interest in the petroleum sector. There's been a lot of interest in the agriculture sector led by Ben's Oil Palm. We have one gold-backed ETF from South Africa, New Gold. There's been a lot of interest in that as well. So we are seeing investors looking at the equity sector as or the equity segment of the market as an alternative, as somewhere to not put all their eggs in one basket, but also to look at that. For us, our aim, as I keep saying, is to diversify the market, is to diversify the companies, is to bring more companies here. We've been working with government of Ghana. We all know there's a whole bunch of state-owned enterprises, from insurance to real estate development to the oil and gas sector, to a whole bunch of them, to production in the real sector distribution. Many of them need additional capital.
That was the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Bernard Avle. Now, as a strategic move to bring new shopping experiences to residents within the North Legon Enclave and adjoining towns, Brawl Ghana, property managers of Atlantic Mall, has officially opened Atlantic Mall at Atomic Junction. According to the managers of this newest shopping destination, Atlantic Mall offers the best of products from both local and foreign manufacturers. The head of property management at the company, Angelina Asante, has been promising a completely new shopping experience.
Here to officially open the Atlantic Mall, which is a new mall that has just come up at North Legon in Accra. It's a 12,000 square meter development, which is here to give us a great shopping experience, a diverse experience. So we do have a cinema, which would be opening soon. We have restaurants. We have a kids play area. We have a bank. We have some clothing shops. We have outlets, Ash Foam. There are very few key tenants. I mean, the main objective of this mall is to serve the residents of North Legon and beyond, even, towards Hacho, Okwase, and, everybody around here. We do have some malls, but you'd all agree with me that this one is placed strategically to take advantage of all these areas that I've just mentioned. It's going to offer employment to the people of North Legon and its environs, and it's also going to offer the people here a place to come and have everything, get close to friends, connect with people, have a good experience, and just have fun, basically. So as you can tell from our logo, it's a place where when you come, you can do a whole lot of things at once. It's convenient. There's a lot of parking, so you don't have to worry about where to park.
That was the head of property management at Brawl Ghana, Angelina Asante. Now, on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 11 cedis 2 pesos. The British pound is selling at 13 cedis 6 pesos. It recorded no price change. The euro lost 2 pesos and is selling at 12 cedis. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling for 12 cedis 15 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 85 pesos and the euro at 12 cedis 88 pesos. Let's join Mark Jordan Sikanate of Data Bank for updates on the bonds market.
Market activity was down from the previous week as weekly turnover dropped over 140 million Ghana cedis to 7.1 million Ghana cedis from the sale of 0.44 million shares. 7 price movers were registered, comprising of 3 gainers and 4 losers. The market indices ended the week lower, with the GSE Composite Index contracting 2.06% week on week to 2,745.33 points, with a year-to-date return of 12.33%, while the Data Bank Stock Index lost 1.51% week on week to 98.61 points, with a year-to-date return of 1.77%. Based on the bid-offer dynamics on the market floor, we take SIC Insurance to lose some pesos this week, while we forecast Gold PLC to make gains.
That was Mark Jordan Skanate of Data Bank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN Goil, empowered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe and have a good business day.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home. Shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Yeah. It's off for the money about come my way. Go. Obi Antone Coalition.
12 minutes past 7, City Breakfast Show. And number of birthday requests coming through. We'll read some shortly. Busy weekend of sporting activity, boxing. Anthony Joshua. And of course, our own Dogbe. All involved in big bouts. Lots of football action as well. All of this coming up shortly in Kickoff, brought to you by Lesheho, that for over a decade have been supporting the investment goals of customers with attractive solutions, a safe haven for depositors who value security as well as competitive return. So it's a balance between security and return. We offer flexible deposit products for 91 days, 182 days, and 365 days. Open a fixed deposit account with us. Call 0577 707 700. Let's achieve your goals together. Shell Savings and Loans, a trusted safe haven for your investments. And it's also brought to you by Shell Fuel Save Super and Diesel as well as V Power. The triple action formula improves engine efficiency, prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion for extra clean, extra protection, and extra savings. You get extra kilometers out of your drive. Go well. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today. What a weekend. What a weekend. Benjamin, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Bernard. Good morning. And let's get into the headlines. Leicester and Chelsea have sacked managers Brendan Rodgers and Graham Potter, respectively, after a poor run of results. Ghanaian boxer Isaac Dogbe vows to bounce back after defeat to Ramirez. And in the NBA, there were wins for the Lakers, the Hawks, and the Phoenix Suns. And let's begin with the Ghana Premier League match week 25. Dreams FC played out a goalless draw with Accra Hearts of Oak. Let's get some reaction from the camp of Accra Hearts of Oak. Assistant coach is David Oklu. He believes his team should have picked up all 3 points.
This is a game we ended very well. I think the latter part, you could see that my boys were giving their all. They were very determined to win it. But it's unfortunate, the needed goal, we couldn't get it.
2 glorious opportunities for Linda to have sealed the victory for you. What was he lacking?
Yeah, the first one, you should have been patient. And there was Gideon there. Just combine with Gideon and you finish. But I don't know, at that moment, I don't know if maybe he did not see Gideon. But the air also played a bigger part for him losing that first chance.
So you had assistant coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, David Oklu, speaking there. Let's get to the camp of Dreams FC. And Abdul Karim Zito is head coach of Dreams FC. He bemoaned the inexperience of his team in the result.
The objective is to win, but at least it's Accra Hearts of Oak. If you don't go for win, or if you don't have a win, we should draw.
I thought you were a bit enterprising today from with these young boys. What were they lacking when they get to the final third?
Well, you know, it's inexperience. For that, by the time we reach certain number of games, they will come up themselves. Here, you don't need to teach them more. You understand me? We are still in the league. So that the game itself is a teacher.
Abdul Karim Zito is head coach of Dreams FC. Let's get to some other results. Adriana Stars, they beat Tamale City by 1-0. Great Olympics, they also beat Brekum Chelsea by 2-1. Karela beat Samatex by 1-0. Kotoku Royals and Mediama played out a 1-0 draw in Swatcherman. And Bechem United also played out a 1-0 draw. And then Accra Lions, they lost to Kim Faisal by 1-0. There's a game today between Gold Stars and Legon Cities. Let's move on to some foreign stuff. And Chelsea have sacked manager Graham Potter after less than 7 months in charge following Saturday's 2-0 home defeat by Aston Villa. It was the Englishman's 11th defeat in 31 games since replacing Thomas Tuchel at Stamford Bridge on the September 8th. Now, Chelsea have dropped to 11th in the Premier League, 12 points outside the top 4, having spent more than £550 million on new players this season. The club's owners said they were disappointed to sack Potter, and Chelsea say that Potter has agreed to collaborate with the club to facilitate a smooth transition, and that Bruno Salter, who worked with Potter at Brighton, will take charge of the team as interim head coach.
Everybody's suffering. Everybody's suffering.
Yeah, Charlie. Managerial merry-go-round. A lot of coaches that have been sacked will replace other coaches elsewhere.
Since the league started, only 9 of the coaches who started the season have
I think it was 13 managers have been fired so far.
So many, like, it's serious.
Yeah.
Over half of the managers have
Some teams have sacked managers twice, and so that's what's going on in the league now. Brendan Rodgers, he has left his role as Leicester manager after 4 years at the club. Now, Rodgers, who led Leicester to their first FA Cup success in 2021, departs with the Foxes in the relegation zone after Jean-Philippe Mateta's last gasp winner at Crystal Palace over the weekend inflicted a 5th league defeat in 6 matches. Now, talks between Leicester bosses and Rodgers took place on Sunday morning when it was agreed that it was best for all parties that he leave his role with immediate effect. So that's what's going on also with Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City. Let's now get to the results on the round 4 this weekend. Newcastle United, they came all guns blazing when they took on Man United. They beat them by 2-0, but in all honesty, could have had a bigger margin by the end of the game. Eric Ten Hag is Man United manager. He admitted that his team were second best on the day.
I hated to say it, but they were better today, and especially in determination and passion and desire. They wanted to win more than we, and so they won.
Does it hurt you to say that your team lost because they didn't show enough passion, didn't show enough desire?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we had our opportunities, but then you have to go for goal with determination. They did, and by far it wasn't good enough. And also we allowed them too many chances. So we were in the past, we were better, and therefore you have to be hungry and you have to give everything, every game. And today they wanted more as we.
Erik ten Hag is Man United head coach. Let's get to the camp of Arsenal. They were 4-1 winners when they took on Leeds United. Mikel Arteta is head coach of Arsenal, and he has been speaking following their 4-1 victory.
Very happy because we had quite a few things going on in the last few days, and the team responded really well to all of them. So, tricky game, tricky opponent, but overall I think we deserve to win the game, and really happy to carry on with the win. They play with a lot of organization and desire. We talked about it. We have to be patient. We had a couple of moments that we lost the ball in dangerous areas, and they put 4 players with a lot of pace to explore the spaces. And after I think we got set. We were really efficient in both boxes, I think, and really happy.
Now, in the other games that were played, Manchester City, they made light work of Liverpool. 4-1 is how that game ended. Now, Pep Guardiola, he says he was elated with Man City's victory over Liverpool.
Our display was almost perfect. The first minute to 93, the way we played against a team, our big rival in the last season, and always we struggle to find the way and the quality they have and the way they press and the transition they have. But all of them, start for Eddie, finish with Jack, were really, really good the way we played.
Now, Jurgen Klopp admits Liverpool were totally outclassed by Manchester City.
City could pretty much do what they wanted because the spaces were too big. And so we are rather lucky that they only scored 1 more. We were not there anymore. We were completely open. We were too passive, too deep, too far away from everything. We had, if you look at the game, I think we had around about 4 performances. We were okay. And it's super difficult here, if not nearly impossible, to come back from a 2-goal deficit. But it is we can make it a bit more difficult for them if you stick to the things you did in your good moments, and that was not there anymore. And that's why then the difference was so massive. Wow.
Jurgen Klopp is Liverpool head coach. Now, Chelsea, they also lost 2-0 to Aston Villa, a result that led to the firing of manager Graham Potter. West Ham beat Southampton by 1-0. AFC Bournemouth, they beat Fulham by 2-1. Brighton and Brentford played out a 3-3 draw. Crystal Palace recorded their first win of 2023, beating Leicester City by 2-1, a result which also led to the sacking of Brendan Rodgers. And then Nottingham Forest, they played out a 1-1 draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Today, there's Everton Football Club taking on Tottenham Hotspur in Monday Night Football. Let's do some boxing. And Ghanaian boxer Isaac Dugbe has vowed to come back stronger following his defeat to Cuban boxer Robesi Ramirez for the vacant WBO featherweight title. The former world champion lost by unanimous decision over the weekend in a bout that took place in the United States. In the aftermath of the fight, Dugbe expressed his hopes of securing another opportunity to compete for a world title in future.
I'd like to apologize to my coaches and to the rest of my team and the people that, are out there praying for me and, wishing me well. We didn't get the decision today, but we will definitely be back. We still have a lot of work to do. I fell short tonight. Congratulations to Robesi Ramirez. He's a terrific fighter. He's a great guy. I don't take nothing away from him. I guess I was the aggressor, but I guess maybe I wasn't aggressive enough. I think my coach, I couldn't push as much as, we all would have loved me to push, but I'll be back at the end of the year. Obviously, I'm still highly rated in the WBO and the WBC, so all is not lost. Like I said, you just have to get back on the ground board. And already I spoke with one of the top guys at top rank, and we are looking when God permits, at the end of the year.
So you heard Ghanaian boxer Isaac Dogbe speaking there. Two more boxing, and Anthony Joshua, he has banished thoughts of retirement after picking up his first victory since 2020 with his unanimous decision win over Jermaine Franklin at the O2 Arena over the weekend. Now, Joshua lost his unified WBA, WBO, and IBF heavyweight titles to Alexander Usyk in 2021 and could not reclaim them when he lost his rematch last year with the Ukrainian. So Joshua says he's going nowhere. Let's finish off with some basketball, and it's one more week left in the regular season of the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks continuously struggling, this time losing in overtime to the Atlanta Hawks. 130-132 is how that game ended. The Raptors were also winners over the Hornets. The Brooklyn Nets, led by Mikal Bridges, beat the Utah Jazz. The Chicago Bulls put up a spirited performance to beat the Memphis Grizzlies, and then in the other games played, the Trailblazers recorded a win. The New York Knicks also won at home. The Lakers also beat the Rockets on the road, and then in overtime, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Sacramento Kings. Kevin Durant and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander duelled in that game between the Suns and the OKC Thunder. The Suns had too much power for the Thunder, winning that game there, and the Cavaliers also picked up a win. The Bucks were winners when they took on the Sixers, and the Golden State Warriors continue to struggle on the road, this time losing to the Denver Nuggets. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketiah, the small sport at citysportsonline.com.
Extra, let me tell you all about it.
Hey, Dolomistic. You and this your extra thing. Abeg, tell me about it.
Abenquine, look, extra is what you and your car get when you switch to Shell Fuel Save. Extra protection, extra clean, and extra savings. You get it?
And no, I mean, tell me extra.
Shell Fuel Save is designed to improve engine efficiency instantly, and with triple action formula that helps protect your engine from wear, corrosion, and deposit, so you get extra kilometers out of your drive.
Sir, and they're not extra, good for your engine. Extra, good for your pocket.
Extra kilometers goes a long way. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today. Go well.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's share go, we improve your life.
Let's share go, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama.
Even when you're stuck with nothing,
come to Let's share go.
No matter your situation,
come to Let's share go.
Let's share go, we improve your life.
Let's share go, hey, let's share go, hey, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama.
Let's share go, we improve your life.
Let's share go savings and loans. Let's improve life.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Hey, Charlie, the journey to your house is not for mere mortals. Going through more trotros than the number of people you have dated. The sandwiching of strangers with peculiar body colognes. Hey. Let's not mention the booga skills your trotro drivers demonstrate on the road. The number of mates misses out to your final bus stop. But you've got this. Wake up your vim with Lucozade. Because with Lucozade, you always make it through. Lucozade, restore your energy. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, Accra! The biggest playground event is back again, Indomie Fest 2023. This Easter, all roads lead to the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park to witness the biggest fun fair and playground in Accra. On Easter Monday, April 10th, a day for all families to enjoy Indomie instant noodle recipes and a day for kids to play all day.
Bouncing castle, hot dog poof, theater, trampoline, many more.
Grab your ticket for 5 Ghana cedis only and enjoy performances from your rock star Kwame Eugene and many others at the Afua Sutherland Children's Park. For more information, contact 0549 012567. Come with your family and friends. Let's party! Indomie Fest, proudly brought to you by Indomie Instant Noodle, powered by TikTok Global and Lynx Entertainment.
Some call it the big red box. Others call it a treasure trove. Explore our range of furniture. Kitia Mall is a real wonderland with a fascinating experience. From the moment you enter, right through to the moment you leave, you will feel inspired. There's so much to see, touch, and feel as you walk through Kitia Mall. We are now open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day and 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays. Visit us today off Spinkters Road and explore our range of furniture and decor accessories that match your lifestyle needs.
Marrying the city's most beloved billionaire, she believed she had hit the jackpot and was on her way to live the soft life she always dreamt of. But that's when it gets darker.
And I'm not sure say your husband to go hobby if you hear the filler way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
Watch Adepa as she navigates the glamorous and gloomy world of the rich and powerful in the all-new drama series, The Billionaire's Wife. The Billionaire's Wife, only on Showmax. Sign up at showmax.com.
It's creamy, creamy plus, delicious milk. Creamy plus for you.
Creamy Plus is a delightfully delicious option whenever and wherever the occasion calls for milk. For your quick meals on the go or quality time at the dining table, jazz up your favorite Gary soakings, mashed kenke, cereals, and all hot and cold beverages with a creamy, protein-rich, healthy option of milk. Creamy Plus evaporated milk with vegetable fat is all you need to stay on the go. Creamy Plus evaporated milk is now available in a shop near you.
For bulk purchases, please contact Les Farm Distributors at Medina Ritz Junction on 0501 682 522, or Grace has found us at Akoko Photo Dansoman on 0245 162 747.
Creamy plus for you.
Creamy Plus evaporated milk.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Health Tidbits is brought to you by the Nyaho Medical Center.
Welcome to Nyaho Health in the City. This week we discuss postnatal care for both mother and baby. Dear new moms, it is important to take care of yourself to promote healing and recovery. This will help you enjoy your new baby and the joys of motherhood in totality. Here are a few tips. 1. Get enough rest. Try and catch some sleep when your baby sleeps. 2. Maintain a healthy diet and stay hydrated to support breastfeeding and your overall health. 3. Discuss with your doctor and do gentle exercises to help your body recover and regain strength. And 4. Attend postnatal checkups to monitor your physical and emotional well-being. Remember, it is okay to ask for help and support from loved ones or professionals at this stage. If you need professional care at home after delivery, speak to our domiciliary team to support you in the comfort of your home. Call or WhatsApp us on 050-143-6662 for further enquiries, or follow Nyaho Medical Center on social media for more health in the city tips. Nyaho, improving your quality of life.
Health Tidbits was brought to you by the Nyaho Medical Center.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
There is a name that calms the seas and tames the storm. I know a name that changes lives and destinies. The wind obey and demons flee. When that name is lifted high, say upon Ochidi Moa and Sextani Bedi and Echi, Yesuti Naya Bosso. We have come in the name of Jesus, in the mighty name of Jesus. Heaven listens to Jesus when we call on Jesus. Hey, say upon Ochidi Moa and Sextani Bedi and Echi, Yesuti Naya. Hey, public announcement. We have come in the name of Jesus, in the mighty name of Jesus. Hey, because heaven listens to Jesus when we call on Jesus. Say upon us, Jesus, and
7:35 Citi Breakfast Show. And it so happens that a number of wonderful people celebrating their birthdays in the season. Help me wish my wife, friend, and counselor Christabel Sewachi of Services, Integrity Savings and Loans, Bema Camp, a happy birthday. May your oil never dry out. May you continue to be the source of inspiration for me, Aseda, Ayeyi, Nkunim, and Inshira. We celebrate you, Chris, coming in from your husband, Chinibua Kodia. Happy birthday to Reverend Dr. Gloria Ma Na Jama Adiko for her exemplary leadership on the occasion of her 60th birthday from the entire staff of Environmental Biology, Environmental Biology, Biotechnology, and Health Division. CSIR Water Research. A long one. Reverend Dr. Gloria Ma Na Jama Adiko. Happy birthday to Florence Mantekai Kome. Wishing you an outstanding new year. May God prosper the work of your hands. Keep being fabulous. From the Komes to Mrs. Florence Mantekai Kome. I'm getting names on it. Mana Jama Mantekai and things. Another one to Nish Adi Dako. From your nephews and nieces, Henry down to Nana Dokuya. May God continue to enrich you and strengthen you to lead us with your compassionate and unique style. Thank you for enlightening us to a life of integrity and discernment. Happy birthday, Uncle Nish. And to Mr. Oko Ajate, CEO of Pianach Ghana, 85 years old today. With age, some people tend to lose their charm, but you've become charming, wiser, and more fun to spend time with. You are a beautiful soul, and I'm glad to make you part of my life on this earth. I wish you a very happy birthday and more fun as you get older. From Christian at Spintex to Oko Ajate. Also wishing a good friend of ours, Pearl Isiamensa, a happy birthday. Oh yes. And the month of April came with a number of things. So of course it's Passion Week. A number of programs happening this Easter season, culminating in our first May family consecration service. Pastor Mauli Chikata has joined us briefly to give us highlights of what to expect in this very, very important month. Before we talk to him, I'll just tell you quickly that if you're looking for a bank that understands you and puts your financial needs first, don't look any further. Zenith Bank is your bank of choice. We have tailor-made products for you, irrespective of your age, your status, your income level. Zenith Bank can give you something. Join the Zenith family today. Call 0302-680-884. That's 0302680884. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. And Alpha Delta Laboni Ring Road Central and Kolebu branches will be working throughout the Easter season. Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, and on all holidays. Our drive-through service will also be operating 24 hours on these days. Our Laboni branch will maintain the usual 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. opening schedule. And from Good Friday to Easter Monday, the place to be is Rock City Hotel. Your bestest ever Easter in Kwewu. A buffet breakfast at 7 a.m., a buffet lunch at 12 midday, dinner at 6 p.m., all for just 165 cedis for adults and 100 cedis for children under 12. Rock City Hotel offers plenty of fun at the plush pool side, the cozy lounge, and the ultra-modern Rock City nightclub. You can also get your pizza at the pizzeria all day, all night. So on Good Friday, 7th April, there's the old school jam with Billy Ocean at Rock City's nightclub. Gates open 10 p.m. Saturday, it's the High Life at 2. It's time to dance to the beats of your High Life favorite artists at 200 CDs. And on Sundays, Ladies' Night with Kwabena for 100 CDs only. Enjoy Easter at Kwewu with Rock City Hotel. And if you're looking for chicken for Easter, get Akuko Tasty from La Bianca. Locally produced, locally bred, locally slaughtered. Comes in various parts. Available at our Fishing Harbour office, Tema Newtown, opposite NIB Bank. Call La Bianca on 0505431111 for more inquiries. La Bianca is your number one frozen foods company. Also wishing Rose Tamaklo a happy birthday. We couldn't have asked for any other as a mother. Good health, long life, great laughter. Coming from Larry. Belated happy birthday to our sister and friend Apioko Seiram Abe. Ashong. Oh, Apioko. Oh, Apioko. What can we do without Apioko? Vivacious, full of life, creative, brilliant, all-round superstar. Apioko Seiram Ashong Abe. Oh, you do everything. You know, she's just an amazing person to have in the team, full of good ideas, always trying something new. A great person, a very amazing mind, and
doesn't get tired.
We're so proud of Apioko. I mean, this lady can plan her own thing. She will do the. I don't know. Apioko is just awesome. Apioko is just awesome. Apioko is just awesome. Matriarch's best. It's not the monarch's best. It's a matriarch's best. All right. So as I said, we're entering a very interesting season. Starting from this morning, the city pastoral team began a series of important things. We call it seasons of prayer. Seasons of prayer, and this is happening throughout the month of April, and to culminate in the family consecration service. Mawali Chikata is joining me to talk about the seasons of prayer. So Mawali, I knew that Easter is a season of the Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Palm Sunday, Good Friday, and all of that. But the team has christened this season seasons of prayer. What's going on there?
So this season goes beyond just the Easter season. You know, we are a family-oriented radio station, so our morning devotion is channeled towards helping the family grow their faith in the Lord. So we call it a family morning devotion.
Okay.
What we call This Is Your Day. But in the month of May, as a radio station, we also celebrate the family. So we do what we call we start the month with what we call the family consecration service, which is the family prayer meeting that we've been doing over the years.
Okay.
And this year, by the direction of the Lord, we are dedicating the month of April for prayer. In Luke 18, Jesus says that pray without, men always ought to pray and not faint. And in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, Paul tells the church to pray without ceasing. So if there's anything as believers we must not stop doing, it is praying. And in this season, we've christened it seasons
seasons of prayer. And this is weekdays.
Weekdays from Monday to Friday. What we are doing is that at midnight, we are praying with families. There are people who are going through a lot. I mean, last month when we did our family devotion, we had a lot of messages from families, people going through a lot of issues. There are people who are unable to sleep over issues. So at midnight for 1 hour, we are praying with families.
Wow.
And then
every weekday,
Monday,
Tuesday,
Friday.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes.
12 midnight.
12 midnight to 1 a.m.
My Lord.
We are praying with families. And then...
Oh, this is your day continue normally?
Yes, so this is your day continuous at 4 a.m. from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. So this morning, Pastor Mauli Benson with Reverend William Wright, I was here with them.
Wow.
And we did the midnight cry. We call it the midnight cry from 12
I need alarm.
12 to 1 a.m. And then...
So you do 12 to 1
a.m. and then we come
and
back.
then you do the 4 to 6 a.m. This is your day regular.
And then at noon, we come back. So this noon we'll be here for the prayer encounter. That's from 12 noon to 1 p.m.
So let's take it one by one.
Yes.
The Midnight Cry is on radio and
It's
also
on
online.
radio and online.
And then This Is Your Day is on radio and online. What about the prayer encounter?
The prayer encounter is online. It's
online.
on Facebook.
So it's midday to 1 p.m.
Yes.
I see. So 3 touch points every day.
Seasons every day.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, throughout the month.
Yes.
Of April. I see.
And then we are doing it so that we'll culminate it with the family consecration service, which will be on the 1st of May.
Wow.
So this is like a prayer preparation with families. So that on 1st of May, when we gather together, we'll crown it with a family consecration service.
Seems very interesting.
And we have a schedule for every week.
So who are we hearing this week?
You are hearing all the pastors this
Everybody.
week. Everybody is coming this week.
You mean fire for fire?
Everybody. Pastor Mauli Benson, Reverend William Wright,
yes.
Reverend Fred Niamo McCarthy Davis, Reverend Michael Kwame Noagbe.
Let's take it one by one. There are some names we have to spend time to call. Reverend Mike Noagbe,
yes.
aka Fire for Fire.
Yes.
aka
He's the fireman.
We are going to pray a certain prayer. Quiet, the guy. Therefore, so Fred McDavid is also there
on board.
Reverend Willie Wright.
Reverend Awintia is on board.
You mean Awintia is back?
Yes, please. They never.
No, Awintia does 2 a.m.
Yeah, he does 2 a.m. on Saturday dawn.
I call him the night rider.
Yes.
No, only Awintia. No, even man.
And then
he's now Awintia is the regional superintendent for Accra.
Greater Accra East of the Assemblies.
No, he's a big man.
He's a big man.
Andrew Nelson Awintia.
Yes.
He has some bad road in his church committee. Sometimes he invited me to his church committee 22. Charlie, some corner be. Hey!
I'm sure by now it's been fixed.
No, the road no good. The road no good at all.
Wow.
Whether you use the Shaman route or you use the Charlie.
The assembly is hearing us this morning.
So Reverend Andrew Nelson Awintia is part of the team.
Yes.
Reverend Mauli Benson.
Yes.
Yourself, Reverend Mauli Chikata.
Yes.
What about the Oga at the top?
The Oga at the top is fully behind.
Joe Wenger.
Directing affairs.
The general superintendent of the Assemblies of God.
That's another one.
He's also
the vice chairman of the Alliance of Assemblies of God Africa.
So he's also part of this thing.
He's also part of it.
So Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and then Fridays there's fasting as well.
Friday we fast.
Okay.
It's a family fast.
What are you praying for?
Okay, so this week, every week we have a schedule.
Okay.
So this week we are praying for family joblessness. We are dealing with family financial crisis. We are praying for family businesses. We're asking for breakthrough from the Lord, asking that God will have mercy and make a way for us as family members. Week 2, which is next week, we'll be dealing with family offenses. Mothers not talking, not dealing with sons and daughters, siblings not talking. I mean, we need peace in our families. There are deep-rooted issues of offenses that prayer can resolve. And people are hurt, people are going through pain as a result of one issue or the other. And we are dealing with issues like that. Next week as well, we'll be dealing with broken homes and delinquent children.
Wow.
And then the third week, we'll be praying for single parents. There are parents who are going through a lot as single parents. And so we are interceding for them. Some not as a result of divorce or anything, but there are death issues, there are widows and issues like that. We are also praying for troubled marriages. There are people who are going through delayed marriages. But you should see some of our messages. 45 years, 40 years.
All kinds of
issues. And then the week 4, we are praying for family health. And
so
family
every
peace.
focus this month is family. Culminating
in the family consecration service. That will be on the 1st of May.
What about the Easter program that you hosted last year? I think there was a program on TV.
The Easter special.
When is
Citi
that?
TV Easter special. That's starting this Friday. On Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday, we have what we call the Easter special on Citi TV.
So this is what time to what time?
So this is from 7 to 9 a.m. So on Friday, I'll be hosting Eddie Bright Davis and then Sisi Beidou.
Wonderful. And then on Sunday
on Sunday, we have Kofi Kakari and the Bethel Revival Choir.
So you'll be in the hot seat on that day.
Yes, please.
All right, so listeners, you can tune in at midnight every working day.
From midnight to 1 a.m.
And then from 4 to 6
from
a.m.
4 to 6 a.m.
Then during the day, you can
at
join
noon.
the social media. I think
It's on Facebook. It's on Citi FM Facebook page.
From 12 to 1 in the afternoon.
Yes, 1 p.m. Sorry.
Wow. Mauli Chikata, thanks for being on the program. Reverend Mauli Chikata, part of the City Pastoral team, comprising the... Are they 6 or 7? Are you the big 6 or the big 7?
Yeah, the big 7.
Yeah, 7. Also wishing a couple more birthdays.
Never cease praying. Let your prayer be like a telephone call. Never cease praying.
Help me kindly wish Enoch Firibu, teacher of Afinia cluster of schools, a happy birthday coming from Godson.
Be like a telephone call.
And Obedo Poku, happy birthday to you.
And he will answer.
First Atlantic Bank Wager Branch. Happy birthday to you, bro. And to Sarah at the Akwa Moakum of Pokwase, may the good Lord bless you and guide you in all your ways and continue to be a blessing. Coming in from Silvanus.
You find, no, keep on knocking. It will be open to you. Ask, it will be given to you. Seek, you find. No, keep on knocking. It will be open to you. Never cease praying. Let your prayer be like a telephone call. Never cease praying, and he will answer. Call upon the Lord in the day of trouble, and he will answer. He'll be there for you. Call upon the Lord in the day of trouble, and he will answer. He'll be there for you. He will answer. Never cease praying, and he will answer. He will answer. Never cease praying, and he will answer.
All right, so we'll take you into Parliament shortly to bring you a highlight of what you missed on Friday, where the 3 controversial tax bills were passed, and also the controversial LI, which was seeking to make the Ghana card the only identification for the election or voter verification, for the voters register. That was also overturned. So now a guarantor system can be added. So 2 big developments. But let me also wish a couple more people. Nathan, if you can help me there.
Yes, this one says, kindly wish my pretty and adorable daughter, Ewenam Adika of ICG Missions Temple, Bachona, and Holy Child RC Basic School, Sakumono Estate. She was 10 yesterday, and we pray for favor, blessing, wisdom, and the grace of God on her life. That's from her brother and her parents. This one says, happy birthday to the twins, Judith and Juliet Ohene Edumia. As you ladies mark your birthday, I ask for the very best you can ever ask for. That's from the entire family, especially your brother, Kofi in Medina.
All right, so let me start from the end and then I'll work my way back. Speaker Bagbin was seeking to defend the way he oversaw the vote because there was controversy. People said, how come an MP was not in the House, yet he was counted during the head count? What happened? So here's the Speaker clarifying how he oversaw the vote. Now, mind you, there were two critical issues: the passing of 3 revenue bills, which the minority opposed, and then the EC's LI, which had sought to make the Ghana card the only form of identification for the voters register. Here's Speaker Bagbin.
I'm sure you all read the standing order I referred you to. And so I will not read it to you. What the tellers have submitted. The ayes 137. The noes 136. Honorable members, you have to as you sit, God created the human being in a very beautiful way. As I'm looking at you, I can't see my back. That is how you are. As you sit, you can't see your back. As I sit, I can see your front, I can see your back. As you sit, you can see my front, you can see my back. I go by the rules, and that's what I'm applying. Please, I will not do anything untoward. If you want, see me in chambers. Honorable members, with this, the SI duty Amendment Bill 2022 is read the third time and passed.
All right, so that was Habib Bagbin. A number of people are asking how come the numbers were recorded as 137, 136 when an MP has died. I think this is very simple to explain. The MPP has 137 members of parliament, NDC has 137, and then there's an independent candidate who has decided to vote with the majority or with the MPP side. So that brings MPP's number to 138. The death of Philip Baswa brings MPP's number to 136. If you add this independent candidate, is 137. NDC, on the other hand, have 137, but the MP for Asin North, I think, the Jachi Kwesen, his matter in court has prevented him from going to parliament. So effectively, NDC has 136 MPs. So when the matter was put to a voice vote and there was a contest as to which of the sides had a louder voice, the speaker asked the leadership what to do, and the NDC had called for a head count, which head count somehow brought out 137 for the ayes and 136 for the nays. Now, there are concerns about absenteeism. So there's an MP who's not been well, who was brought into the House, is the Chieftaincy Minister, Ebenezer Kujokum. And then the Honorable Mohammed Hadi Tuferu, the MP for Nanton, who we were later to be told was not in the House as of the time the head count was being done, but finally found his way to the House. He had been involved in an accident. In fact, I'll be bringing an interview to you shortly about how that accident occurred, where it occurred, and what led to the accident, and how the MP got into Parliament eventually. So, and of course, we'll speak to the leadership of Parliament to explain what happened. Yeah, but I'm sure your views about the revenue bills are welcome. Please send us your comments, 054-998-6996. I have predicted that they will pass it, even though I didn't think it was a good thing to do. And the other point which we need to discuss is, it seems as if everybody's depending on only the NDC to block the bills. But the question is, the MPs who are passing this bill, don't their constituents talk to them about what is going on in the country? You know why? So yes, NDC is the opposition, so they should oppose. But isn't it realistic to also expect the MPs to say, look, at this time, this is not what Ghanaians need. This is not what Ghanaian businesses need. Or so long as it's a government bill, all of them believe the government is right. You know, I find that position quite interesting. So we'll see. It's 8 o'clock. Let's get into tech and social media trends, and then we'll come back with the discussion from Parliament. Now, the tech and social media trends is brought to you by FBN Bank. What if I told you that first things first? What if I told you that there are things etched in stone that will never change? What if I told you that the number 1 always comes before the number 2, the letter A before B, and B before the letter N? Well, what if I tell you that FBN Bank, our goal is to put you, our cherished customer, first, and that our financial services offer the gold standard of value and excellence, that our products and services have been designed just for you? What if I told you that you deserve the finer things in life, and banking is no exception? Wouldn't this interest you enough to bank with us? When you think of a bank that cares and puts customers first, put the B before the N. FBN. Think FBN, you first. Segment is also brought to us by Vodafone. All right, so what's the trend for the morning?
Well, you can imagine a lot of football-related trends. Chelsea, Todd Bowley, Stamford Bridge, all of these things trending in the aftermath of Graham Potter's sacking from Chelsea. Brighton is equally trending. Lots of football-related trends. McTominay and a lot of other things trending. MPs trending from a few days ago still has remnants in the trend and all of that. To some tech news, though. Now, New York Times.
Don't tell me they've laid off somebody
again. No. They've lost their blue tick on Twitter after they said they would not pay to remain verified.
I won't pay.
Now, Twitter has started removing verification badges from accounts which already had a blue tick after announcing that they would be part of a paid subscription from April 1. The New York Times, along with other several organizations and celebrities, said they would not pay for the tick. Now, it prompted Elon Musk to launch a volley of insults at the newspaper.
You can even close my account.
But the newspaper has not officially responded. Now, this story is from the BBC, so they've not given an official comment.
So nobody's going to pay. But they didn't tell you how much we're supposed to pay.
Well, this is it. Now, organizations seeking verification badges have to pay a monthly fee of $1,000 to receive a gold verification tick, while individual accounts must pay $8 a month for a blue one. Now, Twitter is doing this to generate revenue, but some have raised concerns that without the verification process, it will be difficult to tell genuine accounts from
$8 a month.
Even the great LeBron James says he's not paying.
Charlie, they should take their Twitter. That was Tech and Social Media Trends, brought to you by FBN. Think FBN, you first, and Vodafone.
One day, an old lady inherited a huge sum of money. Her family worried about how to break the good news to her. They feared that the sudden good news might give her a heart attack. And so they decided the family doctor who was experienced in delivering such news should be the one to tell her. And when he did, surprisingly, she just smiled. Relieved, he asked, "What are you going to do with all that money?" She replied, "I'm going to give you half." The doctor had a heart attack.
There for you, I got your back, I put you first.
People are often surprised when we put them first. At FBN Bank, that's what we do. We put you first. Open an account with us today and enjoy mobile banking, USSD banking, shop and pay with our prepaid Visa cards, MasterCard, and many other services designed with you in mind. FBN Bank, put you first.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Choose low prices this Easter at ShopRite. Choose from our great selection of mouth-watering rolls, amazing assortment of 100% always fresh fruits and vegetables, and all your freshly baked favorites at delicious Easter treats. Get great deals on 1 liter Lily Sunflower cooking oil for only 49 cedis, 99 pesos worth, and Sierra Chicken Franks 340 grams for just 16 cedis, 99 pesos worth. Choose the best from our wide range this Easter. Offers valid until 10th April only at ShopRite.
Some call it the big red box. Others call it a treasure trove. Explore or rent your furniture. Kitia Mall is a real wonderland with a fascinating experience. From the moment you enter, right through to the moment you leave, you will feel inspired. There's so much to see, touch, and feel as you walk through Kitia Mall. We are now open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day and 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays. Visit us today off Spinkters Road and explore or rent your furniture and decor accessories that match your lifestyle needs.
There are moments in life when you're just so scared and you feel like just giving up. Oh, but Dino Milk is saying, we know that you can do it. Believe in yourself and then go for it. Go for it. Nourishmental, that is your Dino Milk. Oh.
Choose nourishment. Choose Dino Milk Whole Cow, your nutritious instant powdered milk.
Dino Milk. Go for it.
This advert is FDA approved. Ajua, Grandma looked very peaceful. I was completely amazed when I saw her neatly presented. She looked just like she was sleeping.
You haven't seen anything yet, my brother. You should have seen the care and quality treatment they gave her at transitions. One man, one room, oh, just like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And not only that, we had a dedicated person to guide the family through the funeral planning process.
Are you sure?
Of course. From picking her up to when we lowered Grandma down, everything was completely stress-free. They had all the needed funeral services, caskets, hearse, chapel, and so much more.
This one, dear, no family fights after all.
I'm so happy we made a right decision to use Transitions.
With Transitions, your loved one gets the best of care while the family enjoys a stress-free funeral planning process. Call us now on 0302-634-706. And no, did I tell you they're affordable? Transitions, the funeral people.
Breaking news. An Easter sale at a local furniture store is causing a frenzy. Our correspondent Roland is at the scene. Hello, Roland.
Hey, that's mine. Give it back.
Roland?
Yes, I'm here at the Orca Decor sale where there's a 25% discount on everything in the store, and get your hands off that mattress. People are grabbing everything off the shelves and I said it's mine. Back to you, Sheila. Someone is trying to take my mattress. Hey!
Wow. Well, if you like a good discount, you need to be at the Orca Decor Easter sale from 3rd to 10th April. So head over there, get your 25% discount, and give your home a refresh this Easter. Think home, think Orca.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
All right, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, jamming, and I hope you like jamming too. Ain't no rules, ain't no vow. We can do it anyhow. I and I will see you through. 'Cause every day we pay the price. We're the living sacrifice. Jamming till the jam is through. We're jamming,
8 minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show. So, what happened in Parliament? We'll get to that in a second. Two quick announcements for you.
Yes. Now get ready to elevate your driving experience with a vehicle from Toyota Ghana. For a limited time only, Toyota Ghana is offering a super bundle offer on any of the following vehicles: the 1.4-liter Starlet, the 1.8-liter Corolla Cross Adventure, and the 1.5-liter Rush. Purchase any of the mentioned vehicles within the super bundle offer period and enjoy the following: a great price discount, 1 year free comprehensive vehicle insurance coverage, 1 year free home insurance cover, 1 year free service, and free starter fuel. Of course, T's and C's apply. Visit any of Toyota Ghana showrooms in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Tamale, Takwa, and Takrady, or call 0302-910-204. Credit purchase is also available through special arrangements with our finance partners. Toyota, superior quality.
All right, so let's go back to Parliament and hear Ahmed Ibrahim having an interaction with the Speaker over the way the matter was decided. This was on Friday night.
I put a question on the second proposed amendment. I put a question on the second proposed amendment to clause 1. That was after that I heard the uproar. Yes. Deputy Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it was a simple proposal. The table office is here. They know the people they counted. And to settle this matter, it was a simple asking them whether the people in question were here, and if they can testify that they counted them, the matter settled. It was a very simple matter.
Honorable Member, the standing orders are clear. The standing orders say they should count the heads. In counting your heads, the tellers will not be able to identify the people and say that this is the honorable member for Jomro. I can identify her. No, they are counting the heads. You are standing. And so they will not be able to say whether a deputy minister or an MP for this constituency was present or not present. They cannot. The tellers cannot. They are counting your heads. Yes, Deputy Minority Whip.
Mr. Speaker, you are right. That is the more reason why when there's head count, you call on ministers of state who are not members of parliament. Excuse us. If ministers of state are sitting with members of parliament and you are counting heads, Mr. Speaker, the probability that the heads of the ministers of state who are not members of parliament will be counted is clear. And that, so going forward, you have just quoted order 6. In all cases not provided for in the standing orders, Mr. Speaker will judge as he deems fit. So, Mr. Speaker, going forward, I will want to appeal to you to use order 6 to make sure that when we get to certain stages, in order not to bring the clerks at table, their image into disrepute, they may not be able to identify the heads of MPs and the heads of non-MPs. But MPs and non-MPs are seated together. So, Mr. Speaker, going forward, use your discretion and use order 6 as well.
Honorable members, you had two options: a division or a head count. You are aware of these dangers and you opted for a head count. In the division, we are able to identify the people. In the head count, there are a number of types. This one, you agreed to stand up to be counted. You know that Mr. Speaker has allowed a number of head count of times using some procedures. And I was guided by you, and I followed it ditto. I haven't departed from your guidance. it doesn't now lie in your mouth to come back and be raising the issues you are raising. I like your conclusion. Going forward. That is how your leader concluded. Because now I can't go back. You know the procedure to be able to take the house back. That procedure you can adopt later. But as at now, my hands are tied. And so I put the question again. Those in favor of the deletion of sub clause 2 of clause 1, say aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put the question on clause 1, the whole of clause 1. And the question is that clause 1 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, clause 1 of the bill is ordered to stand part of the bill.
All right, so that was all the controversy in Parliament. And guys, the truth is that the majority found a way to pass this bill. And I don't know if you get the whole brouhaha over the numbers, though, like 137, 136. People are wondering how the MPP were 137. I thought that's pretty simple to get, right? They have 137 MPs. There's an independent who goes for them. One MP is dead, so they have 186. If you add that independent to them, they have 137. NDC, on the other hand, have a guy who has not been in Parliament because of a court case. So they are effectively 136. So the other point about whether they use the head count or whether they use the division, I'm not really sure that's the point.
It's immaterial.
I think the point is that the one half of Parliament thinks that this is good for Ghana and another half thinks it's bad. And somehow it looks like majority of non-affiliated or majority of reasonable people why is the NDC under the cosh even in relation to the ministerial approvals, right? Don't the MPs have members in their constituency who tell them that this is wrong?
You see,
why are we thinking it's only opposition that should stop this? Why can't the MPs say this is not a good thing at this time? The government should not do this. Why do they all support their government? That's the question we should be asking. Instead of saying, how come NDC couldn't stop it? NDC is 136. And clearly all the NDC said no, but they still lost. So, whether it's I don't know, division or whatever they call it, I'm not even sure it's an issue here. But that seems to be the... People are questioning, how come NDC couldn't get one more? The NPP have a guy who's not well.
But where would the NDC get that extra MP? Because the extra MP
they are saying that the
has
MPP
been barred by court.
They are saying MPP shouldn't have 137 because there's a guy who's not well. I think the chieftaincy minister, we are told, is not very well. So we don't know how he even got into Parliament. Whether he was brought in, I don't know. And then there's the other one, and I'm going to do an interview on this shortly. So there's a report in the... What paper is this?
The Anchor newspaper.
Yes.
And other portals have...
Richard Sky tweeted this as well.
Yes. So an MP, it turns out, was involved in a car crash on his way to Parliament. Now, the said MP is Mohammed Hadi Tuferu, who represents the Nantong constituency in the northern region. Now, the story says that on his way to Parliament, he got into a crash. So his vehicle ran into another one. Now, instead of being sent to the hospital or, sent for medical attention, he was brought to the house for purposes of the vote. Now, portions of the story quote MP for Boku Central, Mahama Yariga, and he granted TV3 an interview, and he went on to say that, his side, which is the minority side, did not see the MP, who's also Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture. But the information he got was that the MP had suffered a deep cut on his forehead. Okay, so
Richard Sky then tweets around that night that let me read the full tweet in relation to a photo from the accident scene And then he says that the near fatal accident that reportedly sent an MPP to the hospital, he left in an ambulance in the company of another. Given the numbers that were announced, was he counted as present and among those who have been voted? So let's work our way back. So there's the accident actually occurred on the GIJ road from the ABSA clubhouse towards GIJ. That road, which also has the Assemblies of God headquarters. Now, the person whose car was hit by the MP, we've called him up to tell us exactly what happened. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So what's your name, and can you tell us exactly what happened on Friday night?
Okay. So my name is Pabna. I work in Accra.
Okay.
I close from work. On my way home, I normally use the GIG route to join the main road through the Slabside house to Gold House to my house. So that is my normal route I've been using for the past 6-7 years. So on that fateful evening, same application, I closed and used the same route. So when I got to the ABSA clubhouse junction, which is a T junction, there was a couple in front of. They got to the junction before I got there. So the guy turned left. We were all driving slow because that route, the road is not good. So you have to go slow. So when they turned into the left, then I also turned into the left. But apparently the witnesses around there claimed that the MC was speeding. So immediately the couple turned, and they are my witnesses, and I also turned. By the time I touched that, the car just ran into my car. That was when the whole thing happened.
So just explain this. The turn that takes you to the Independence Avenue, you were turning left, and this the MP was coming from where? The minister was coming from where?
He was coming from, I should think, the church.
Okay, so the road that takes you to the SDA church. He was coming from the north, as you say, and he was coming towards GIG.
Yes, I was moving towards the 10.
So you're going to make a left to join the Independence Avenue road.
Exactly.
So then which means he hit your passenger side.
Yes, he hit my passenger side.
What kind of car were you driving? What kind of car was he driving?
He was driving, I should think, a pickup after the accident, because I from bystanders and the witnesses, he was speeding. So I didn't really, because I got stuck in my car when he hit me. So I was a bit unconscious for a while. Then I started smelling something in my car. So I just struggled and pushed the door on several times. So I was able to come out. So when I came out, I stood at the big day. And within a few seconds, I saw a lot of people coming around. They were shouting, "For code speed too much, for code speed, there's speed." So that was when I regained a bit of consciousness, and I noticed that his car was a pickup.
Okay, so hold on. What time did this incident occur?
It occurred around 9 p.m.
Around 9 p.m.
Yes.
Around 9 p.m. So, were you alone in the car or somebody driving you? And do you know if he was alone in the car?
I didn't know, because it was when I came out of the car. I struggled coming out of the car. Before in fact, I was a bit big. So a guy stood in front of me and was telling me that, "Oh, I'm the Uber driver. I'm taking him. They didn't call." I was like, where? So that was when I got to realize that he was moved out of the car.
I see. So just to be clear, your car and his car were both grounded after the accident.
Yes, please.
And he was sent by Uber. You were later told he was sent by Uber to wherever he was going. But what about you? Did you go to? Were you sent to the hospital?
Okay, so my witnesses, which were the couple that got to the junction, slowed down and turned before I followed, were the ones that came, helped me out, pack my laptop because I was close from work. So they helped pack my laptop and stuff into their car. So within a few minutes, the police a lot of police people were around, and there was this police officer from Parliament who said he worked in Parliament and that he was giving his number so that I called. So after that, my witness, the couple took me to the hospital for a checkup.
So the people who were driving in front of you, the so-called couple, they took you to the hospital?
Yes.
But by the time you came out of your car, you didn't see the whereabouts of the person who drove into your car?
No, sir.
So how do you know that it was this MP or minister who was in that car?
Yeah, so after a while, I think they came and packed, they came and packed stuff from his car. So the couple went to the car and checked inside the car, and they found his complimentary card. So they gave it to me, and I snapped it. So that was when I got to...
Okay, so they got into the pickup, took his complimentary card, and that's how you got to know that this was the deputy minister and MP driving the car, who was in the car.
Yes.
I see. So, but how the pictures I've seen show the cars quite badly damaged. What happened after his car hit your car? Did your car somersault? I mean, did he? Because I see broken glass and things. It looks like a very serious accident.
Yes. So when it hit, my car turned because I was taking the left. So my car turned and was facing it didn't somersault, but it turned and it was facing the clubhouse. So his own somersaulted because everybody was shouting. The speed was too much. He was speeding. So a lot of people came out. So that was it. And after the couple took me to the hospital, they gave me some injections. Then we went to the police station. Then I was supposed to make a statement, but the officer was not there. So they asked me to come the following day to come and give a statement. But because of the injections that were given to me, on the Saturday, I was very weak. So the police called me and asked me to come. In fact, the police called me and was asking me I should describe what happened. I was like, I'm not in a good shape to describe what happened because I'm not feeling well. They told me, when I get well, I should come and write my statement.
So which police station were you sent to after you went to the hospital?
I was sent to Osu police station.
But which hospital were you sent to after the incident?
Volta River Authority Hospital, just not far from the police station.
So this is in Osu?
Osu, yes, please.
I see. So if we go to the hospital, verify that you were sent there after the accident, and you also went to the Osu police station after the incident, but they couldn't take your statement, you are saying?
Yes.
And you also said an MP a policeman from Parliament spoke to you. Do you remember his name?
Yes, he called, I think it's Better Freeman. So he even called me on the Saturday and checked on me how I was doing. And I said, I wasn't feeling that well. They said, okay, if I'm not feeling well, I should just take my time, get well, then go to the police station and write my statement. And he even sent me another number of the MP. And I tried reaching out to him, but he was not. I called him, he didn't go through. I sent him a message, he didn't reply.
So we don't even know if he's well, because what you may not know is that from Parliament it was reported that he had a bad cut on his head. So we are not even sure which hospital he's in as well. So this looks pretty serious. Is your vehicle beyond damage, beyond repair? I've seen some photos. It looks pretty.
Yes. My colleague, I think, said most of the photos. A lot of people took the photos and put it on social media. My car is beyond repair because the impact was so much, and I think he was speeding to the extent that I don't know. But it's God that saved me. Then I thank God for my life, because what I went through, if you see my vehicle, you will see that if it was God that really saved me, I would have been dead by now. And I would have been stuck in the car and nobody, I don't know. God just gave me some strength to push the door.
So at the time this happened, you didn't know there was anything happening in Parliament. You just were on your way home. So where in Accra do you work? You said this is your usual route. Do you work within the Osu area?
Yes, I work within the Osu area.
I see.
Around the Independence area.
And this is the regular route you use. Is this and you were saying, is there a place well lit at 9 p.m. or was it dark?
Pardon?
Are there street lights on that road at night?
Yeah, there's a street light. That place, there's a street light.
I see. I see. So you are going back to the police station today?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you for speaking to us, Governor. So this is a gentleman whose vehicle was hit, was involved in the accident, we should say. And I got people sending me photos and his number that they saw him at the scene, and I put him on the air. So this actually did happen. It says it happened around 9 p.m. and that he was rushed to the hospital, and apparently the MP, and I'm adding Sky's angle to this, that the MP was sent to Parliament in an Uber. So if you look at the pictures, there's a white pickup with a registration number there, which has somersaulted, right? And then this guy's car was like some Toyota with a badly mangled side. Now, that road doesn't look like a highway to have the level of accident that we've seen. So unless somebody was speeding. Now, this gentleman is alleging that the MP was speeding. We don't know if the MP was driving himself or somebody was driving him. But at least if you piece the story together, he probably got into Parliament whilst all the noise was going on and they found a way of. I don't know what you make of this. It's bizarre. So whilst we were on air monitoring this was happening.
Yeah, quite bizarre, and adding to the annoyance of people, general annoyance of people. First of all, let me just say that we are thankful that the two persons are alive.
Yes.
Yeah, very important.
We don't know the state of the MP though, because we haven't
received any
information about him. Yeah.
But he showed up if he was good enough to show up in an Uber in Parliament, take a vote and then leave later. I'm just hoping that he's good.
Because his car from the photo was
really bad.
Was on his head.
Yes. But I'm not saying post the car being on his head. He went to Parliament on his own strength.
He was taken in an Uber.
Who took him in the Uber? Who called the Uber?
Maybe so. I don't know. We don't know whether and this guy obviously cannot confirm whether somebody was driving the car.
On that side. So there's still a lot of this. But the point is, he ended up in Parliament.
Maybe we should call Freeman Tete from Parliament to confirm.
Yes, exactly.
This gentleman
he ended up in Parliament.
That the head of Parliamentary Police came there.
Yes,
and then called him the next day, which means that he's well briefed on the matter.
Which means it is a plausible assumption to make that Honorable Hadi Tuferu would have called Freeman Tete.
Or somebody in the area.
Or somebody with him.
Yes.
No, because a random person cannot just pick up a phone and call the person who runs Parliament security.
I get your point. You're right. So possibly
the person who called General MTT.
You're right.
This was a direct call to Freeman Tete who came.
Which means that whoever called Freeman Tete knows that this was an MP.
Yes,
or was an MP.
And knows the rules.
I get you.
And
this was very close to Parliament
as well. So it will take Freeman Tete all of 5 minutes to get there with his people. So that aside.
Yeah.
But if you put all of the things that happened together on Friday, my honest thoughts on this, Bernard. You see, the two parties, they know what they are doing. We, the citizens, we don't know. But the two,
they know what they are doing.
They know what they are doing. And they should continue what they are doing. Whether it is good for the country or not, they should continue. Over the weekend, there was a lot of bashing of the NDC parliamentarians. Yeah. Like, why didn't you stop this? Why didn't you do that? And people were like, why are you not asking the government that brought the taxes? Mm-hmm. Everybody is guilty in this. Everybody. And I'll explain, Bernard, if you allow me.
Mm-hmm.
When did we become aware of these taxes? As a general public. Oh, hold on, I'm coming. No, I'm with you here.
Okay, go on.
I recall it started making appearance in the newspapers about 2.5 weeks ago.
Yes.
you had, once it became public, you started making attempts to even get the documents to look at. You struggled to get the document.
I got it later.
Yes, you got it much later at your level. At your level.
I'm a small boy in the system.
So if you struggled to get it, how would the general public even get a whiff of this when you were busily asking for information? Now, the reason why I have a problem with both sides is this. We all knew what was at stake with these taxes, what they meant. There was no talk about this from both sides. In fact, as of last week, you and I were asking the NDC, for instance, what was their position on the matter? As of last week. If you look at the engagements between the beverages people, AGI, if you can decide to check the timelines on those, who else was brought in? What kind of consultation took place? Where was the awareness for this? Right? Now, in that period, the headlines were dominated by other things. Okay? So we had LGTB happening. We had Kamala in town. We had EC in town. EC business in town. We had, are we going to meet IMF deadline or something? But these three taxes were never part of mainstream conversation.
Except on this radio station.
Yes, and a few others. Yeah, I was saying, we spoke about this. You spoke about, you forced Humphrey, Ayim Daki to send you their position paper.
Editorial on this.
Yes. Okay. So where was the general conversation around these three taxes? And that is where I'm saying the two parties know what they are doing. The MPP definitely would not have wanted any general engagement on this because they had been told we need this. If you looked at the narrative that was spun by the government and all the headlines that went with it, they were saying if we don't get this, we will die. Basically, if you don't, the economy is going to collapse. No MPP MP is going to go and say, I want the economy to collapse. So they vote for it. They vote for it. So they didn't even bother to even go and talk to people about it because they knew what they were going to do. Now, the NDC MPs also had that. Didn't really talk about it because they had other things that they were chasing at that time, which was approval of ministers, which seemed to occupy their attention publicly.
Yeah.
And they used, if you look at the groundswell that they moved on the ministers, that time could have been better spent telling people about the three taxes and building some momentum towards it. And we've seen them do it before, which is why perhaps a certain level of anger that we saw this for e-levy. We've seen this for LGBTQI+. Why did we not see that kind of mobilization for these three taxes? And I'll tell you why you did not see it.
Why?
Because the NDC needed to have consensus on the Ghana card, which today, you look at your... Oh, Bernard, I'm telling you what I think.
So you are putting A and B together.
I'm putting A and B together. Add guarantor system. This has been the biggest headache of the NDC for the past 5 months. On any level, I've heard Chairman Esedun Ketia basically on every radio station in this country talking about this when he talks. This has been his biggest concern. IPAC, they've written to Peace Council, they've written to every single body in this country on this matter. And we knew that when the conversation around the ministers were taking place, this was on the board as part of the negotiations.
You're suspecting that they
played ball.
You think so?
That is what I am saying. I'm thinking.
So it was like scratch your back, I scratch my back.
Yes, because so help us pass this. We do what we do.
So we'll go easy on the CI and allow the guarantor system to be brought in if you pass this bill.
Yes.
But if you look at the way they went about the whole thing, like calling for headcount and the so-called division, and then this MP was rushed in.
You and I,
another MP was not well. They brought him, and all of this.
Bernard, I appreciate the drama around it, but this parliament is far too savvy.
So you are not buying.
I am not buying it at all. Some of the things that happen
is the NDC leadership. Is the NDC leadership outside parliament in on this, or this is purely parliament?
I cannot push my assumptions that far. But all I'm saying is that if you look at the build-up of what has been important to the two sides in parliament, the taxes have been important to the MPP. Guess what? Did they get passed or not?
They got passed.
They got passed.
The CI being amended for the guarantor system has been at the heart of the NDC for God knows how long. What happened?
They also got their wish.
They also got their wish over the same weekend.
So you're saying if the NDC really wanted to stop the taxes, they would have found a way?
I am saying that the interest of the two parties at that moment were different, and they both found ways of making sure that their interests were met. Past taxes, move this year because
the other reason why people are upset is that they feel like there was even a claim that the MPP numbers were not even up to the 137. So, for example, we've said one MP is there is 137, right? Now, I just was in Parliament. We understand the Chief Executive Minister was not well, but was brought in. Tufero was involved in an accident. So, as at the time the voting was happening, he was probably now getting an Uber.
Yes.
All right. Then we are told that there's even an MP who's the deputy minister who's not even in the country. So how does a minority allow all of this? That's why they also blame the speaker. Anyway, we cannot verify this. We are trying to get the minority side to speak to this, and I'm not
going to make any assumptions on that matter because Bernard, if on a day you and I show up in Parliament and we go and mix, we even have the access and we go and mix and there's a vote, Bernard, MPs know who is an MP and who is not an MP.
So they can count. So if they wanted to be sure that they were counting,
Bernard, they are telling me that parliamentarians cannot identify each other after 3 years, 7 years.
So you are not buying any NDC.
I am just telling you what I see.
We have been tricked.
I am just telling you what I see. I will lay this at just politicians being politicians.
So they are taking us for a ride.
No, I don't think they are taking you for a ride. I'm simply saying that
they are playing a game that we are.
Their interest. There are interest, and that's what I'm saying. I've tried to outline the two most important things
to each party.
How many press conferences have been held about guarantor system? In fact, the day that the NDC organized a lecture about this, was it not the MPP? Richard Ahiagba or somebody who also organized a counter presser. In fact, it was Osei Mensa Bonsu. If I'm not mistaken, it was Honorable Osei Mensa Bonsu who organized a whole press conference
on this
to explain why the EC had to do this.
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Only for them to now agree that.
So where did this come from?
Wow. So listeners, Governor is saying that the NDC and MPP in Parliament
that's what they want to do.
They are trading horses.
They are politicians.
And they are doing that on our blind side, and we are buying this from them. And both sides have gotten what they want.
Happily.
The MPP government have managed to push through these 3 tax amendments, which the NDC opposed on paper. Right? They just didn't have the numbers based on their claim. Now there are claims that if they really pushed hard, they could have blocked this because the MPP didn't even have the right numbers. As we have seen, there was an accident that occurred around the time this was happening. Because again, if you're watching this, it was around from 8:30 all the way to 10 p.m. So it's possible that this accident occurred while the voice vote was even happening, and that he was later sent there.
Yes.
I'm even told that indeed when Sky was reporting this on Twitter, I was saying that he appeared to have a cut on his head.
Yes.
All right, before he was, I don't know whether he was sent into the chamber or to the washroom or whatever. But the question is, if somebody is bleeding like that, and you push the person to go and vote, it means that the government really wants to do this. All right, and the NDC too, they haven't heard any of them come out to organize any press conference to even say it's a disappointment that this has been passed. Maybe they are tired, or maybe they feel
because which is what I'm
or they know why it was passed, so they can't come and say anything.
Let's go online. Do a simple test, right? Type NDC plus Ghana card plus EC. Type.
There will be plenty of stories.
And then type NDC plus the 3 taxes and see what you will get.
You get
the stories you will get to be over the weekend.
Yes, the Ghana card story is plenty. The other one, the EC one, the one you mentioned is not a lot.
It will come from the week. No, you will get a lot of stories, but they will be from the weekend.
But most of the stories are around the procedures.
Around it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying that. So in the way politics works, you should be able to identify what matters to a party at a certain point in time, what the position of a party. And I'm saying that at least I consider myself as being conscientious journalist in this matter. Now, with regards to the three taxes.
Yes.
As at last week,
Yes.
I am not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying you are the best. You and I sitting here did not know the NDC's official position on the matter.
Yes.
In fact,
I just typed NDC 3 tax amendments into Google News. We heard our colleagues will help us the 3 tax bills. We hope our colleagues will help us the streets of Upon Kroma. You are squeezing the dead with more taxes. Mahama 8, slums Kojo Upon Kroma over past tweet. Prioritize passage of
that was on
revenue.
Saturday or Sunday after the thing was passed.
3 days ago, yes. Prioritize passage of revenue bills to help advance IMF. BOG urges Parliament. Nothing untoward was done in passage of 3 bills. Speaker. NDC sabotage IMF bailout. Peace FM online. So you are right. There's no position. But that's why I asked the question whether we should even be expecting the NDC to do this.
That's what I'm saying. That I think that this is just a clear manifestation of what politics is. Interest. What interests you? What interests me? Where can we meet ourselves halfway? And then also, what matters to the citizenry? Because, like I also said, the taxes should have been an issue 2 months ago. These are not new taxes, Bernard. When you've interviewed persons who told you that these taxes have been on the board for almost how many years now? You tell me.
Indeed, the amendments began, I think, 2022.
You tell me, 2022.
Yeah.
How come it has never been such a massive issue for everybody?
Yeah.
And then just 2 weeks ago, it was like, oh, taxes are coming. And I recall, even you drew my attention to like, there's something happening.
I actually said that. I felt that
I remember.
The NDC, if they had blocked the ministerial nominations, or if the fallout for the ministerial nominations had not been so bad for them, would not have had a problem with these taxes.
Which is what you said on Thursday.
Yes, so I am not surprised, and I predicted that they would pass it. I didn't know that it appears to be a quid pro quo in terms of you scratch my back, I scratch your back, which is what tends to happen. And the other thing I need to say to you is that a lot of MPs will tell you things behind the scenes, but I don't want to come on air on this.
Oh, we know.
And I find that strange because it tells you that Parliament's credibility in front of the public has been damaged. MPs are not sure. There's no trust among their ranks. So MPs are not sure if they'll be branded if an interview goes wrong. So members of Parliament, a lot of them are keeping mute on these very sensitive issues, right? And for me, Parliament is failing the citizens because at least represent us based on our aspirations. And if you can't, come and explain your actions to us, right? But don't hide behind Charlie Media. I don't want to put myself in trouble, so I'm not going to speak about this, right? It is so sad, honestly. Quick comments on the parliamentary developments on our WhatsApp feed.
Yep, some messages coming in. Danny from Oyarifa says, this MP and minister must be penalized. You got into such an accident and you left the scene with the person whose car you damaged and ran away to Parliament to pursue his selfish interest, if I should put it that way. Okay, he's not very happy with the MP. This one says, it's called a Jumashishe. That's what Godfred is describing. Kekeli from New Longoro says, I'm tempted to agree with Godfred with his assumption because this has been my thinking all this while since the bills got passed. This one says, please, what's the total number of votes for the minority and the
136 for minority, 137 for the majority.
The person says he doesn't agree or he or she.
But if you add that, that's 273. So there's 2 absent, 1 NDC Asin, and then 1 MPP who's died.
My position is the numbers are really much ado about nothing in my case. The way I see it,
the numbers don't mean
don't mean anything. Okay, because the numbers will simply tell you NDC voted against it, MPP voted against it.
MPP voted
for it. Have a conversation. But I'm saying if you put the 2 scenarios together, it tells you what obviously happened.
Yeah.
For me.
I get you. KTK from Asylum Down says, I agree with you, Bernard. When it seems our reps don't necessarily express the opinions and sentiments of their constituents, they live in a different reality. Until the child of the MP schools in a DA or cluster of schools, Ghana won't develop. Okay. This one says, everybody saying the minority cannot stop the majority from passing the amendment bills because of the numbers. But Bernard, wouldn't it rather send a strong signal had the minority won during the voice vote, considering that the speaker is from their side? The majority won on all the voice votes put up by the speaker, meaning they didn't shout enough. I think it should have gone down to the wire for the majority.
No, but if 275 people, you have 136 shouting yes and 137 shouting no or whatever, you can't really use your voice to distinguish. Let's go to Parliament and see if we'll get some help there. Samuel Nate George is MP for Ningo Pram Pram. He's one known for speaking his mind. Samuel George, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Good morning to your listeners.
Am I right if I feel like both sides of the house have failed Ghanaians? Because on the taxes, at least the sentiment I was getting from business community and listeners was that these were very inimical. And from the way your side allowed this to go through, it seems as if you didn't push hard enough. Can you defend your side's position on this?
Bernard, I know that you are one whose maths is very, very strong. And there is no way 136 can be greater than 137. And it would be unfair to the minority to suggest that we and the majority, which represents the ruling NPP, did not push back on this. We did. The majority were yes men for the government. But the report of the committee was not a consensus report. It had us in opposition to it. We argued it out on the floor of the House, and we called for a debate. And even when the debate happened, the speaker put the question and had a voice vote. And after the voice vote, the leadership of the minority called for a vote by division. On some occasions, a head count. We put it through the entire gamut of what was within our rights and remit as members of parliament. The only thing we didn't do was to disrupt the House. And that's something I know that on the Citi Business Show, on the Citi Breakfast Show, you have been very critical of Parliament, that Parliament must not become a rowdy marketplace. And so that's the only thing we didn't do. If you accuse us of not disrupting the House, we're guilty as charged. But if it comes to everything, in fact, when it became clear to us that the counting appeared to have a problem, we raised it, our leadership raised it with Mr. Speaker and questioned the fact that we were very well in the know that Jean Mensah was not in the House that day. She's the one who is known for cooking figures. We couldn't understand how the clerks at table would have also made such fundamental mistakes. Because you said you had one.
No, I think that Jean Mensah comment was very unfair. Honestly, we are not discussing her here. To bring her in that manner is completely unwarranted. I think you should take that back and just continue. Honestly speaking, seriously.
Well, I respect your opinions, and you host the show, so that's fine. It's taking back. But I mean, everybody knows that she presented 6 different results in the 2020 election. So that's why I'm saying that when people make mistakes with figures, you can use Jean Mensah as a reference point, because she's done that in the past.
No, not in this on this platform, in this discussion, because it doesn't matter.
Let's not belabor the point. The point I'm making here is we raised the fundamental issue, and I'm just making all of this point to rebut the presumption you made in your question that the minority acquiesced in the imposition of this draconian and unnecessary taxes, because if we acquiesced, we wouldn't have gone through the votes. We wouldn't have accounted for our 136. We wouldn't have challenged what appeared to be an error in counting on the side of the table, clerks at table. Because when they did the count, at the very least, we're all aware now that at the time the first vote was taken, the Honorable Ahmed Hadi Tuferu was not in Parliament. We're also aware that there were about 2 other members of Parliament who walked in after the clerks at table had finished counting them, the majority side. So clearly that vote should not have read 136, 137. But be that as it may, the Speaker only announces what it is that was presented to him. Our majority...
So whose mistake was it in this 137? Was it the people who counted wrong heads as part of what they were counting, who fed the speaker the wrong information? Was it the whips who were unable to verify? Because I'm sure in the counting, in every voting county, there's an agent, right? So whoever was your agent there when they were counting...
No, in this one, there was no agent. Because, you see, in this one, the way it is, it's even difficult for the whips to do a count. Because normally when the whips are doing a count, they stand up and do a count for the other side. But right now, what the speaker's ruling or directive was all those who voted aye in the voice vote should rise So everybody who is rising will be counted, whether you're on the majority side or minority side. And so it then presupposes that when in that particular vote, the minority had voted aye. So we all stood up, our 136 stood up and were counted. If anybody from the MPP side had stood up that they were also trying to count us, the table clerks would have counted them. And so in the same vein, when the nays were being counted, which is the my majority side, our whips could not have stood up. And I mean, when you're sitting and the whips of the other side is standing, it becomes difficult for you to be able to tell line by line and row by row. But that's the job of the clerks at table. They went in there. They have a question to answer as to how they managed to get 137. And if you remember, we've had an instance where the speaker, we had to insist. I think that was when Haruna was leader. We insisted that the finance minister be walked out of the chamber when we were going to take a vote. And the same thing repeated itself on Friday, where the finance minister remained in the house, where there were other ministers like Esiama, the transport minister, also in the chamber. And this is why we've always said that at times, when we ask that ministers should be cleared from the floor, it is not a means of disrespecting or belittling their offices. But there's a reason why our standing orders say that the lobby must be cleared.
No, I get that point.
I won't place the blame anywhere else but the table office.
No problem. I don't understand the difference between the so-called head count and a division. But some people say to me that if the minority in their protest over the voice vote, if the minority had opted for a division, it would have been easier to identify the fact that some MPs from the majority side were not in the house. But as the speaker said, a head count is a counting of heads. So you can put a head of a minister there instead of an MP. And if the person counting is not minded to check if this is an MP's head or a minister's head, they will still count them. Now, any explanation as to why the minority leadership opted for the head count as against the so-called division?
Oh, okay. So again, let me just do the distinction between a head count and a division. A head count, all those who voted aye rise. They are counted, the heads are counted by the table office, and then all those who voted nay stand in their seats, and then the counts are done, and that's tallied. When it comes to a division, all members of parliament, the lobbies are cleared, and all members of parliament are moved out of the chamber. And then two particular doors of the chamber on both sides of the aisle are opened. And when a name is called, you walk in, and then you are counted. So that's a much more detailed and lengthier process. I will concede that one would say that if you wanted to go the full hog and go all the route, you'd have opted for a division. But that would be to presuppose that we do not trust our table office in Parliament to do an effective head count. Because at the end of the day, a division is simply a head count, but this time done with members coming in individually.
So a division is a head count with verification.
More like that.
And I'm sure your intelligence, and I mean when I use intelligence in the sense of knowing what the other side is up to, would have known that some of the MPs from the majority side were either not in the house or were on their way to the house. So a division would have been probably a more effective method of winning than just the head count, because as we have just been told, the MP for Nanton was involved in an accident on his way. We understand another MP is not very well and that he probably was brought in from the hospital. In fact, there are allegations that there's a third MP who was not even in the country. I'm not sure of that. So all these things are flying around, and you would have known better than us the condition of the opponent's side. All right. So if people say, in fact, let me just go straight to the point. People feel like the minority did not really oppose this until they lost the vote on the ministers, and that if the minister thing had been successful, you probably have passed this anyway, and that the only reason you even showed last minute opposition to this was because Ghanaians were angry with you because you passed the ministers, and therefore you are doing some last minute shaggy things to show that you were upset with this. And when the MPP dangled the CI in front of you, you swallowed it and said, okay, you amend the CI the way we want, we'll also give you your thing, we'll all make some noise, we'll blame the speaker, and then we'll all live happily ever after.
That's a lot of conjecture, and I wouldn't want to engage in that conjecture. There's a lot of conspiracy that can grow with some of these things. But the point that we must make is this. We had questions. I mean, there were several times whilst we're preparing for the head count. A member will say, this person is not around, and you quickly do a quick scan, and you find out that that person was sitting on another person's chair. Because, you know, in a chamber, we all know where everybody sits. And so you look in a particular direction, you don't see somebody, and you say, this person is not around, and you realize, for example, Asenso was thought not to be in the house, but we realized he was sitting elsewhere, and he had done a swap. Okay? So it's difficult in a heated moment, and don't forget that this was happening at past 10 p.m. in the night. And so, Bernard, we were livid when it came to our notice that there was empirical evidence, clear-cut evidence, that 2 members of the House were not present at the time the division was done, or the head count was done. I remember very well the Deputy Whip, Honorable Ahmed, MP for Banda, stood up and raised the issue with the Speaker. But unfortunately, the Speaker ruled that the exigency of time and the vote had been declared, and so there was nothing he could do about it. But for me, it goes to the efficiency of the processes and why many times some of us have spoken about why Parliament must go so late in the night. Don't forget that the table office staff are also human beings, and they've also been there from morning. And at times you go and sit in that house. We sit in the house from when the meeting is called. Government doesn't bring any business till the last day. Even on the last day, you don't have government business come from 10 a.m. in the morning. They bring it at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. It's intentional because they want to take the lapses of human abilities that come in when fatigue sets in. And look, our position on this tax measures is well articulated and well stated. That we're against it and we do not support it in any way. We think it's inimical to business, and we think that government is making more savings from the debt exchange program and does not need this about 4 billion that they are going to make from this tax handles when they are making about 43 billion from the debt exchange program. And that's why we're opposed to it in principle.
Okay, am I asking too much if I say that when I compare the advocacy from both the party, I'm talking about the Abraka, and then the Parliament when it came to the minister's approval, in terms of statements that were sent out, newspaper stories and all of that, I didn't see the same level of interest or advocacy from the opposition party or the MPs on this one, which arguably would cost Ghanaians more. Because if you look at 6 ministers, how much are they being paid for the period that they'll be in office compared to the 2.5% tax on all companies' profit before tax, 1% of all revenue of turnover for petroleum, upstream and mining companies, plus 5% tax for 70 or 15 categories of companies. So if you are really interested in the public purse, one would have thought that this is a more serious fiscal issue than even the ministerial nomination. Yet we saw more agitation, more interviews, more press releases from the party and the MPs on the approval than on this one. So it's not even about what happened in terms of the division and all that. There's a general sense that the NDC was ad idem on this matter.
Well, Bernard, I know that the MPPs are paying to try and find a witchcraft mate on this one, but unfortunately it won't wash because we didn't introduce a tax measure. We are not in government. We didn't introduce a tax measure. We don't have a majority in Parliament to stop it when they have their numbers, even though in this instance, in the first instance of the vote, the first bill that was tax measure that was taken, it's proven that they didn't have the numbers, but then somehow they managed to get the table office to be convinced that they had 137. But the point must be made that, again, you've made reference to the kind of backlash that occasioned 2 Fridays, the votes that happened 2 Fridays ago. And I'm sure that, I can't speak for Adabraka, but I'm sure that everybody's looking at how communication is done such that you don't have the kinds of ripples that characterized what happened on the previous Friday. There was clear direction. What I can state on authority is that the party, Adabraka, the party office, gave clear direction to Parliament. It may not have been public. It may not have been publicized. That's a matter of strategy for Adabraka that I can't speak to. But as a member of Parliament, I got clear directions on how to vote on every single question that the Speaker put. That directive was issued by the national chairman and the general secretary. It was reiterated by the minority leader through the whip, Kwame Abuja, and the two whips. At every point in time on Friday, you had both Kwame Abuja, Ahmed, and Doyo walking through the aisles to ensure that every member of parliament on our side was added them and ensuring that we toed the line that the party had issued. As to the mode of communication of that, I can't speak to that. That's Adabraka's decision to make. But as to if a directive was issued, which was to oppose those tax measures, we got that loud and clear in Parliament, and we told that line.
So just finally, what is the state of the minority front bench?
I don't understand the question. When you say what's the state, what do you mean?
In terms of how resolute they are to lead the minority in critical decisions, in terms of how united they are, in terms of their credibility with the backbenchers. Basically, how healthy is the minority front bench following all that we've discussed for the past 2.5 weeks?
A true test of leadership is adversity and how you handle and manage adversity. I have absolutely no doubt in the ability and tenacity of Atuforsen and his team, Boa, Abuja, Ahmed, and Doyo, to continue to lead and show leadership. I mean, in the aftermath of Friday, when we came to the House on Tuesday, there were several meetings that were held. We had an expanded leadership meeting, of which I was part of, and I must commend Atuforsen for the kind of leadership and the tone of that meeting. It was not a blame game meeting. It was a meeting that said, this has happened, we need to own it, we need to move forward, what is the way forward? And from that meeting, the various caucuses took a cue, went and had our regional caucus meetings to deal with the directive that had been given from our leader. And that is how come you saw on Friday 136 being accounted for. In fact, there were people who had been officially sanctioned to travel by Parliament and by the Speaker, but on the directive of the leadership, returned from those official trips or declined the official engagement that had been approved by the Speaker. So that tells you that the caucus is solidly united behind our leadership. They are the leaders we have, they are the leaders we will work with, they're the leaders that will lead us into the 2024 elections and help us deliver both parliamentary and presidential victory. I'm confident that these ripples happen, and it's good that some of these things happen early on in the tenure of a leader. It allows you to recalibrate and reorient yourself, and I think that we're in a good place as a caucus.
Thank you for your time, Honorable Samuel George. He's MP for Ningo Pram Pram, and he has been the defending the position of the minority on this. I want to go to the majority side and speak to Honorable Habib Iddrisu. I think he's the deputy majority chief whip. So these whip positions are just to clarify. So a chief whip is really the one who rallies the troops when it comes to all major decisions. They also look after the welfare. So they're actually it's like, how do I put it? It's a very important position. You know, we sort of downplay that. We look at minority leader, majority leader, and deputy leaders, but the whips are very important,
key, yeah.
Particularly on things like this. So, Honorable Iddrisu, thanks for joining us on the show. First point, why did all 136 MPP MPs and the independent candidate or MP who supports the majority, why did you all vote for these tax bills? Because a lot of Ghanaians are not happy with this. Yet you seem to vote for what the government wants. Was there not even one person on your side who thought that this was a bad idea?
Bernard, good morning. But the point is that the revenue bills that were passed on Friday are not new to Parliament. I said so because when we were passing the 2023 budget, these were the revenue measures to finance the expenditure of the budget. Our colleagues in the minority and ourselves passed the budget. Our colleagues in the minority and ourselves passed the appropriation. So if you pass a budget and pass appropriation, and you don't want to pass the revenue measures to finance the budget, what are you trying to tell Ghanaians? It means that you are passing a budget telling Ghana government that, okay, I've passed a budget, but they don't go and take money. And if you look at where we are at the moment as a country, our tax to GDP is still somewhere around 13-14% in Ghana. We are still doing inadequate. We need to pay our taxes so that government will be able to use that to finance its program and its projects. So literally, we supported this budget, this revenue bill, because one, it was part of a budget we passed where we supported and passed in principle. We supported it because it was incorporated in an appropriation that we participated and passed. So it was just right for us to be able to give the spending authorities the opportunity for them to get that needed amount of money they need.
But Honorable, you agree with me that you can have a policy document approved broadly as a budget. You can even agree generally to taxes, but the design of the tax you can change. All right. So if, for example, the private sector, the FABAG, and all these groups, the GUTA, are saying that the design of particularly the growth and sustainability tax, the fact that the 2.5% in the third schedule affects all companies, you can say, yes, we agree that government should finance this budget with taxes, but you can still disagree with the tax measure, i.e. the law. So the fact that the minority agreed to pass the budget does not mean that every specific tax proposal they should support. Do you get my point? And if you listen to the debate from the private sector, they've not said that the budget is bad. They are saying that the specific taxes that you are imposing is going to damage businesses. So the question about if nobody, and particularly because the MPP is the party supposedly of business, you are the right of center party, you are the private sector party, right? And you are the guys now taxing us with all kinds of taxes. So you can't say that because we've approved the budget, they should support every tax policy, irrespective of how damaging it is to the businesses.
But let me make a point clear, and it must be well understood and taken that I don't want to say it, but I have to just say that what our colleagues in the minority exhibited on that Friday with regards to the revenue bills was hypocrisy to the highest order. Hypocrisy in the sense that if you look at the bills, the report that came from the Finance Committee, it was agreed. The reason why it was not passed the time we were passing the appropriation bill was that we said we were all tired. But at the committee level, which is represented by the minority, all agreed in consensus. It was a consensus decision from the committee that these revenue bills must be passed. Only for leadership to be changed, and then we resumed back to Parliament, and they took a different decision and said that even what we agree, we are going to disagree it on the plenary. And that was exactly what was going on. If you want to look for a copy of those revenue bills that came from the Finance Committee, before it was being laid in Parliament to first, second stage, and third reading to the constitution stage, with them opposing, they did not oppose it at the committee level. They did not. So what are we talking about here? And that report was ready in our last meeting, before this session meeting that we had. So in effect, you have agreed to something at committee level, then we could not do the revenue bill due to time constraint that day. We were all tired, just like we couldn't do the Supreme Court judges one, because that one too was ready. But that night we were tired and we could not take it. And then we left it like that. So it should not be misunderstood, or it should not be the case that they never supported the revenue bills at the committee level. They supported the revenue bills at the committee level. And the committee came with a consensus decision. But they against it in the preliminary because they had gone and said that, a sound minority in terms of disagreeing with government policy is part of the democracy. But what I'm saying is that it must not be the case that they never supported it. They supported
so you're saying that the Ayariga sponsored amendment. No, I'm coming. I understand you.
Our voting for it is we are also representing constituencies and people. And when I look at their argument, they said that people and their constituents are saying they should not support it, and for that matter, our constituents and our people are also telling us that we should also support it. So when we vote,
your constituents are not telling you to support it. So, for example, the largest opposition to this has come from GUTA. GUTA has members predominantly from Swami Magazine and Abose Okai, right? You cannot tell me that for an MP of Swami to say that his constituents say he should pass this, when GUTA has come out clearly, and GUTA is a very large group of importers and traders, right? You cannot tell me that.
And that's the majority leader's constitution.
Yes. So you can't tell me that the majority leader was doing what his constituents wanted.
I can tell you that he equally was not acting what the constituency doesn't want. Is it the case that the constituency doesn't want government to be able to get money to finance his budget?
No, that's not what the government. The constituents are saying that there are other ways of raising money.
It is good we change the narrative. We have to change the narrative in Ghana, where we have to be able to look at each other's faces and say that, look, we are not doing enough when it comes to tax to GDP. We are not doing enough when we come to commitment as a citizen. Taxation is, if you, the only person you don't want to offend in the Western world is a taxman. Very difficult or very have dying consequences even than the police or the judges. So the most important thing we need to do as a country is where we are at the moment. We are in trying and difficult moments. We have to burden share. We have to be able to raise expenditure to finance the budget. And I'm saying that if we were not able to pass these 4 revenue bills, how are we going to finance the 2023 budget?
Well, I'm sure we have a whole discussion on that. Let's go back to what happened on Friday. There is a strong view that at the time the voice vote was taken, when Mr. Speaker said the ayes have it, at least one of your members of parliament was not in, because it would later emerge that the MP for Nantong had been involved in an accident around the APSA clubhouse on the way towards GID. And this accident occurred around 9. So he probably got to parliament after the voice vote had been taken. And in fact, we are told that he was not even in a good shape enough to be on the floor. All right. So as whip, I'm sure you know about this. And now a couple of questions here. Even 2 things. If he was not there when the voice vote was being taken, then that's deception. Number 2, even if he was there in the condition that he was, are you not endangering a man's life over this matter? Because from the narration we saw and the state of the cars involved in the accident, the first place that man should have been rushed to was the hospital, not to the floor of parliament.
Bernard, you know, if anybody is telling you a story with regards to the accident of Nantong, that person is giving you a story. I'm a government whip. Part of my job is to get my numbers to execute government business. Part of my job is for the welfare of the MPs. And for that matter, if anybody is telling you that the time we took the voice vote, the Nantong MP was not in the chamber, it is never the case. If anybody is telling you that we did not care about the welfare, about the Nantong MP, it is not actually true. You could even see that when the NDC actually wanted to make a case, I think Honorable Ahmed was on his feet, and he said that the education minister was not in the chamber the time the voice vote was taken. The Honorable, it must be on record that the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nantong was in the chamber the time the voice vote was taken. Probably I should be able to reveal something that I am speaking for the first time about it on Citi FM. And that has to do with the fact, look, that day, the Nantong MP was in the chamber in the morning when we went for a suspension. All the Muslims in Parliament, they break their fast in my office. So he was in my office and we break our fast. After we break our fast in my office, then he said he was going to see somebody and come back. So when he was coming, then he had an accident. The time they gave you about the accident is not true. I was involved. In fact, I got a motorbike to get him and bring him to the time we were going to take the voice vote. He had come. Then I put him in the washroom. I'm revealing this. I was the one. When he was coming after the accident, I received him. I didn't make him enter the chamber. I put him in the washroom. Then they brought the nurses from Parliament and the doctor. In fact, to cross-check this, you can call Dr. Kisi, who is the member of Parliament for Anyaso Utuom. I called him into the washroom. Majority leader came. The nurses in Parliament and the doctors in Parliament were there to attend to him in the washroom. Because of the voice vote, I said I didn't want him to come to the Parliament clinic. Mind you, Parliament has a hospital or a clinic. So he was there. He had minor bruises in his face. So they cleaned it up. And even to stitch that thing, the minor bruise close to his eye was stitched in Parliament in the washroom.
Oh, so Habib, I'm coming. You are saying they stitched. I'm coming. You said they stitched. No. I'm just trying to clarify something. No, you are saying it was a minor bruise. But
Yes.
do you stitch a minor bruise?
No, definitely. If my diction there is not right, then I will rephrase it and say that they needed to stitch some part of it. So what happened was that the doctors and the nurses came in there with Dr. Kisi. So they cleaned it up. When we were going to do the voice booth, he came in there and it was done. And when it was done, then we came back. Then he was there again resting. And then he came back again when we were going to do the other voice voting. Then he did the voice voting. Then Dr. Kisi advised that, okay, because it was an accident, now we have checked all his vitals, everything is fine, he's good, he's conscious, he's talking, he's walking, he's everything. But we should send him to Eurocare to be able to do a scan on his head and his shoulder to see if it is okay. Then I informed the speaker about the incident and told the speaker that I was arranging an ambulance to take him to do the scan and bring him back. So I arranged the ambulance. The ambulance came to the premises of Parliament. I walked with him to the ambulance. And the speaker said that Kwame Agoja should follow me and then Jethro, who is the deputy clerk, to the ambulance and watch whether he was the one in the distance so that he can go to the hospital to do the scan. So that when we are doing further things, he can be counted because he's at the premises of Parliament. So myself, Kwame Agoja, and Jethro went into the ambulance. I have a video of it because I took a video for evidence sake. And we went in there. So you could even see that on the floor of Parliament, after we've done the third bill, Kwame Agoja was in his speech to let Speaker know that the last voting that we did, Speaker should let us know if somebody was engaged in something. Invariably, he wanted to just make the case that, Honorable Hardy was sent to do a scan and be brought back. And when he went and did the scan, there was nothing wrong with him.
Right.
And as I speak, he's in Tamale, and all what they are saying is actually not true.
I was going to ask if it's okay. You are saying he's in Tamale is okay now, so we are grateful to God for that. I spoke to the guy whose car was hit by the MP's car this morning, and he's also doing well, although his car has been badly damaged, but that's a different story. But what is fascinating about what you just described is the fact that he had to be stitched in the washroom of Parliament. Now, the little I know about the stitch is that that means the guy had a cut, possibly a deep one. So if Dr. Adumako, who is a doctor, made the judgment that he should be stitched in the washroom, that suggests that the man probably should have been in a hospital when this incident occurred and not in a parliamentary toilet.
What I'm trying to tell you is that when he came, he was assessed by not less than 3 doctors, but not less than 5 nurses and everything. So the decision was taken. His life was not in danger. His life was not in anything. He was conscious. He was okay. There was nothing medically. They had examined him and they thought that was the best decision. Definitely, we will never put our person in this danger because it is something we have. When Honorable Baswa, may his soul rest in perfect peace, was not in a good condition, we left him in there, and the majority leader made it clear that he's unconscious or his state, he could not come to Parliament on that Friday that we were voting the ministers to be able to participate in that. So definitely we care about the welfare of our MPs. Definitely we care about their well-being, their health and other things. And we will not jeopardize that. Neither will we gamble on the life of anybody because we want to be able to
Thank you so much. And clearly you've done well in terms of helping a colleague MP, which we need to commend you for. But I just wanted to check. There's 2 other comments about the fact that one MP was not even in town. In fact, it's alleged, and I've not proven this, that Ejapa Mensah was not in town. And also, there's always a question about the state of the chieftaincy minister in these votes. The ex-chieftaincy minister, the Honorable Kojo Kum, that he's probably not in a condition that even allows him to participate in parliamentary procedure properly. Yet he's wheeled in to vote or to make up the numbers for these votes. I mean, as a whip, this seems to be so. Deal with the Ejapa Mensah matter for me first, and then the issue of Kojo Kum and how he's consistently brought in to make up the numbers, even though we are told he's not in a state that allows him to even take part in the parliamentary discussions.
It must be noted that it is never true that Ejapa Mensah was not in the chamber. In fact, he was in the chamber. That day he was wearing a black shoe, a black pant, and a cloth, an African print top, of which there was a bit of a yellow thing in there. Go and check the video in Parliament, and check that day proceedings, definitely you see Mesa going around. It is never true that Mesa was not there. Mesa was there. And you see, with the case of Kojokum, even before any voting, he started coming to Parliament. He sits there, and when he sits in Parliament, he has been able to participate. He has moved several times for us to be able to get him. You see, when somebody gets out of a certain state and he has problems, and he come to Parliament and also want to be actively involved. At times, we have to move either a motion or we want to lay a paper on behalf of a certain minister. If the minister is not there, even before any voting, Kojokum have done that. Honorable Kojokum have done that. I'll call him and say, the minister, I want you to get up and lay this paper. So when he mentioned it, he will get up and bow and sit down. So it is not the case that he is not fit. He cannot be in Parliament, and we are actually forcing him to be in Parliament. Whether we are voting or we are not voting, if you look at the record, the state date he has started coming to Parliament, check the voting proceedings, he has never absent himself in Parliament.
Fair enough.
So it is not the case because of the voting that he came. And Mesa was in the chamber. Mesa was there the day before, and Mesa have not been there. Mind you, we have issued a train-line whip, not today, to ban all our MPs from traveling. So that there was no way any MP could travel. 3 weeks to this decision day, we have already issued a train-line whip and told them the day we are taking the decision, and no member of Parliament must travel. So nobody traveled.
Finally, there is, and again, thank you for your time in terms of answering all the questions. There's another view, and this is my final question, by the way, that the ECCI issue was what your side used to, I don't know whether to threaten or to convince. I'm not sure what word to use, but when the NDC persisted in the attempts to get either a division or a headcount, we are told that the MPP sort of leadership dangled the fact that, look, this EC thing that we have decided to back down on, if you push and you block these taxes, we will also push the CI in the form that it is in. So it's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. So you people use the CI point to force the NDC to agree to the revenue bills.
No, it is never the case. The CI, as it was presented and as was discussed and everything, stand in the position of the majority. And we, the whips, have communicated to our colleagues that was the position of the majority caucus. But mind you, if we had agreed with them that the CI, they have to come to compromise and other things for this to be used on the revenue bill, why are we having headcount? Why were we voting at every now and then? I think we voted about 3 or sometimes where they would do head counts and other things. Why would we have to do that? Because that day we were in majority. We were 137. They were 136. So if it comes to any food to shelf, we will definitely beat them in any vote that we were going to do. So it is never the case. What is actually reflecting in the CI was the position of the majority. And that was the decision that we have taken by them. And it has nothing to do with any...
So your position on the CI... Because when I heard Majority Leader 2 weeks ago on the CI, he seemed to agree with the EC. But for now, it looks like you've agreed with the NDC that the Ghana card should not be the only form of identification, that we should add a guarantor system. That seems to be a shift, because the last time I heard the Majority Leader speak on this, indeed, the MPP and the EC were on the same side until a Friday night.
Okay, but if I might throw a bit of light, technically we haven't moved from the position the Majority Leader was standing. We were only being rational, we were only being reasonable, and we were being considerate. The fact that about 1.2 or 1.4 million Ghanaians haven't been issued their cards, and the fact that we are very convinced that the NIA have the capacity now, they have released the cards that they wanted, because the finance minister has released some 100 million through card bank for their cards to be released. Now the question is that if this money is released and these cards are given to NIA, and they are able to print this thing to and give the cards to those 1.4 million. Who are they guaranteeing for again? You have the card, you have the option. If you come, the Ghana card is there. If you have it, why will you have to bring a guarantor? Because the contention was the fact that some people who are within that voting, voting age have had their cards or they have been registered, but their cards haven't been issued out. So if NIA in the next 3-4 months has been able to give everybody the card, and you go to do a continual registration, you produce your card. It is not the case that you have to always use the guarantor when you have the card. There's no need. So we are convinced that our position hasn't shifted. We are only being reasonable. We are only being rational and considerate. And we are very convinced, without reasonable doubt, that the NIA will be able to issue those cards to those who are within the voting limit. And when that is done, nobody will even need to use the guarantor anymore.
Thank you for your time, Honorable MP for Tolon and Deputy Majority Leader Habib Iddrisu, speaking to us there. 9:28. I don't know. He's the, what did I say? Deputy Majority Whip in the House. An interview coming up shortly. I just want to wrap up with Godfred on this and a couple of quick WhatsApp messages. But if your health is important to you, visit Vigdang Healthcare, a GHS certified healthcare center that specializes in kidney stones, hypertension, fatty liver treatment, hepatomegaly, and others. Now, the key point is that we specialize in 100% natural medicine in all our treatments, and we're on the Spintex Road behind the Standard Chartered Bank. Call us on 054-995-1211. Now, learn the language of finance. Are you a business leader, entrepreneur, executive director, or manager of marketing, sales, or operations and HR without a formal background in financial or finance, right? Now, Benchmark's Finance and Accounting for Non-Finance Executives Workshop is happening, and it will bring you up to speed with the latest knowledge you need to analyze income statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statements, help you select the most profitable projects, help you calculate budgets to achieve stated financial goals and others. After this workshop, you will enhance your financial acumen, you will confidently make everyday decisions that create value in your organization, and you will communicate effectively with financial executives. Call Benchmark on 0277 511 315. That's 0277 511 315. We'll be speaking to the Mövenpick ambassador. No. We'll be speaking to, forgive me, the organizer of the Robert Gordon University's open day at Mövenpick Hotel. It's happening at Mövenpick Hotel. Yeah. So it's today at 10 a.m. It's happening in about 30 minutes. Yes, Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen. Oh. They're doing very well in the market in terms of graduate employability and industry connections, and they have an open day that's happening today, Monday, the 3rd of April, where they will have academics from various faculties and student recruitment and admission teams to help those who want to gain admission to that school. So I'll be speaking to the regional manager for Africa. She will come in with other people from both the student side of things, from the academic side, to talk about this program that they're organizing today at 10 a.m. So it's in less than half an hour. Godfred, have the final word on this before we take a break. Just 10 seconds. You heard the two sides. Do you believe them?
Take your break.
Okay.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Charlie, Bet365 is now officially live in Ghana. If you're into your sports, there's never been a better time to get involved. Get a piece of the action and bet across a range of markets on the biggest sports. And if you like your soccer, it gets even better. 2 Bet365 soccer jackpots are available every week over the entire season. You could win up to 5 million cedis for betting as little as 2 cedis. Hiya! Yanko! Visit the official site at bet365.com.gh and join. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please bet responsibly. Bet365.com.gh is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Hooray! Harvest Praise is 25 years. Come and let's celebrate 25 years of sharing his story and his praise. Ministering at the Silver Jubilee edition is praise and worship legend Don Moen.
God is good all the time.
The young, sensational and anointed minstrel Moses Bliss.
Miracle, no they fly, Jesus.
And the host choir, the Evergreen Harvest Gospel Choir. As always, Harvest Theatre will deliver a soul-inspiring drama performance. Join us at the UPSA Auditorium on Good Friday, 7th April 2023, 4 p.m. sharp. Tickets, single, 80 Ghana cedis, double, 150 Ghana cedis, and VIP, 150 Ghana cedis. Dial star 725 star 1155 hash on all networks and buy your tickets now. Tickets are also available at Airport Shell, Bachelor Total, Sunny 88.7 FM, and all Harvest Chapel branches in Accra. Children are not left out. Children from ages 5 to 12 will enjoy an awesome experience at the HP Kids session featuring King's Kid, Louis Pascal, Kata Harry, and many more. Entry is free for kids once you purchase an adult ticket. Come, let's celebrate. It's the Silver Jubilee. Harvest praise. Get your praise on. See you there.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
So it's 9:33, still a Citi Breakfast Show, and as I said, Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, Scotland, known for its rankings in graduate employability and industry connections, and they are here to talk about some of their programs, some of the reasons why, if you haven't made a decision yet, you should decide where to do your undergrad or postgrad program. Fascinating courses in business, engineering, health, education, all of those. I have in studio Julie Anderson, Regional Manager for Africa. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I have Dr. Joseph Mante, who is the main man when it comes to their law programs. He supervises PhDs. He's been living and working in Aberdeen for the past few years. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We also have Dr. Simon Fraser, not to be confused with the university. He is a principal lecturer in business school, Robert Gordon, specialist in entrepreneurship. Welcome, Doc.
Hi.
Good to see you. And my good friend Ishmael Muslim, General Manager, Best Education Services, a partner representing RGU here in Ghana. Ishmael, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So let me just ask a general opening question. Today, the 3rd of April, we understand there's a big event happening at the Mervyn Peak Ambassador Hotel, right? It's an open day.
That's right.
Great. What's an open day? Just give me those highlights.
An open day is an opportunity for people to meet with the university itself and get the right information you need to make an informed decision. And moving on from there, we've added another point where you can apply instantly
whilst you're there.
When you come. Yes.
So that means whether you're an undergrad or prospective postgrad, parent, sponsor.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need to be there today if you want to go to RGU.
Exactly. This is where you meet all the people you're going to be meeting in the lecture rooms.
Okay.
That will be teaching you, and they can tell you whether you can get admissions with your credentials or not. So there's no doubt about going to sit internet and thinking whether I qualify or not. When you come, you can walk away knowing that I qualify. And if you qualify, there's a booth you can apply instantly.
Whilst you're there. Probably even get an interview, who knows. Yeah. So Joseph, let's talk to you. When did you get to this university? How long have you been teaching there? Tell me about your experience with Robert Gordon University.
Well, thank you very much, Bernard. I started teaching in Robert Gordon University in 2014.
All right.
I joined Robert Gordon University after my PhD in construction law and dispute resolution.
Is it?
And I did that because Robert Gordon University had one of the biggest online master's program in construction law and arbitration.
Okay.
In the University Herald in 2020, it was ranked among the 6th best construction law programs in the world.
The whole world.
So you can see the attraction.
All right.
So I've been there teaching in the law school, and I've gone through the process. I've gone through the process. I was a module leader, course leader.
Okay.
And now I'm in charge of the PhDs, looking after the research degrees programs.
How has the experience been for you teaching? Aberdeen is a bit further up north, isn't it?
It is. But it's been a wonderful experience, I should say. One thing about RGU is the slant on professionalism and employability.
Okay.
So when you study with RGU, you know what you are going to get. You know that you are preparing yourself for the market. And I think that's one of the great features of studying in RGU.
Let's come to Simon. So welcome again.
Hi.
How do you think studying at RGU will advance the career of a student from Ghana in particular?
Well, we have students from Ghana at the moment, and they're very good students as well, I might add. So I have Ghanaian students in some of my classes, and they're extremely good. In terms of what you might get if you come to us, we're very industry focused. So we're what we call business connected. We make sure that we work with lots of businesses in the locale. And Aberdeen is known for being sort of the centre of oil and gas and renewables in the UK. And we have a lot of students from Ghana come to us for that reason. We also offer short-term placements. So some of our courses that you can come along and do have sort of a placement bit where you actually get the opportunity to work with businesses. So we work very closely getting businesses in as well to try and help us to sort of really make that stand out. We've got a really, really strong employability rating as well across the board. So we're at the moment we're at 97% employability, which is really a really impressive statistic, and that's consistent over the years I've worked there. I've been at Robert Gordon now for 13 years.
Sure.
So I joined after being a business advisor, and I also was involved in commercialisation as well for a while.
2010.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I've been there a long time.
You teach entrepreneurship.
Yes.
One of the big buzzwords in Ghana is about entrepreneurship, and which I find interesting. You're talking about employability. Yet there's a view that the way a lot of economies have gone, people should really be thinking of starting their own jobs, or the university should prepare them not just to be employed, but to also become entrepreneurs. So talk to me about the entrepreneurship program and how your school generally prepares graduates to also become employers of labor in the future.
So we teach entrepreneurship right the way from the early stages undergraduate right through to PhD level. We have a number of different modules which you can get involved in, where you can learn about how to start a business, or how you might want to commercialize a business, or there's a module I run which involves technology. We're thinking about how we might harness new technology to start a business. We work very closely with large businesses, of course, but we work very closely with the small business community as well. So I run a course called Connect to Business, which allows undergraduates to get out there and actually work with small businesses. And we were successful last year in getting the Small Business Charter, which is in recognition of the work that we do with small businesses. So we're there to help people understand how to start up a business. But one of the reasons I went to RGU was because it's known for the research in entrepreneurship that happens here. So we've a very strong research team who are actually researching what's going on in entrepreneurship to feed that back into our teaching and make it a little bit more specific to helping people start up.
I see. The other interesting thing about your name, so apart from the fact that Simon Fraser is a popular investor in Canada, so the name Fraser, if you know a little bit about Ghana's first, how do I say it? First co-educational school, Achimota School, one of the founding principals was called Reverend A.G. Fraser. And he's Scottish as well. Are you Scottish?
Yes. I'm from Inverness, so I couldn't be more Scottish.
So you need to research on Reverend A.G. In fact, there's the Agri Fraser Gadgisberg lecture. So Fraser is one of the main architects of secondary education, in the sense that he was the first headmaster of Achimota School.
Wow.
And he famously allowed Ephraim Mahmoud to be admitted to Achimota School. And if you go to Achimota School, there's Fraser House. All right, so it's a very famous educationist. So maybe you are from the same family.
Yeah, no, Frasers are the way, I tell you.
Yeah, wonderful. Let's come to Julie. So you're the regional manager for Africa. So students are listening, parents are listening, potential sponsors are listening, right? What do they need to do if they like to attend the event this week at Mövenpick?
Okay, so I'm really excited to say that there's going to be, this is the biggest version of this we've taken out to Ghana before. So I have 5 academics traveling with me.
Wow.
So it's a really good opportunity. It's kind of like an open day that we've brought to you.
All right.
Normally it's just me and Ishmael. So this is an opportunity to really meet the lecturers. You can understand what the teaching will be like, ask more detailed questions about the courses. So it's a really unique opportunity. So that's why I think that this today in particular is a little bit different than what we normally do. We have a lot of Ghanaian students and some fantastic Ghanaian alumni, so we really want to commit to this country and the students that come here, and that's why we're taking this show on the road, and we're coming all the way out here with my 5 colleagues.
So typically, Ishmael was hinting what could happen. I can apply here. Will I get an interview? Will a decision be made, or I would have to wait? What is possible on an open day like this? So let's assume I have my transcripts, I have my IELTS results, I have applied, or I want to apply. what is possible within the 24-hour window that you'll be here?
Yeah, well, it depends how many people turn up. So absolutely, students can apply. We're not going to be able to do instant offers just because the admin of that is possibly not quick to turn around.
Yeah.
However, we can get the offers back very quickly for students that have come to meet us, and those will be our priority. So that's another incentive there. So absolutely, if students have all their documents, Ishmael's team can help them with the application process and everything beyond there. So the visas are complicated now, aren't they? Paying your deposit and so on. So they've got support here constantly, and also they'll have us to sort of teach them about the university and everything else.
Two other points. Financial aid. A lot of Ghanaian students will say, yes, we want to go to universities in Canada, or in Scotland or wherever, but sometimes the fees. So there's always a healthy balance between what we pay and some financial aid. Does RGU offer any for financial aid at all?
Yes, we do. So we have an instant sort of scholarship discount for international students.
Okay.
So for the postgraduate students, that's £2,000. For undergraduate students, that's £3,000. So they don't have to fill out any additional forms. That one happens straight away. If we have any alumni that are coming back to us, we'll give them 20% discount if they're coming back to do their masters. So we kind of encourage students to stay with us, or if they're coming back to do their PhD. We also work with a lot of local scholarship providers. So GSS, as you know, I'm sure, and Get Fund. And also we work with the UK government, so all the usual scholarships like Chevening and Commonwealth and so on.
Wonderful. We're talking to friends from Robert Gordon University based in Aberdeen. The huge event today. It's today, right?
Yes, today.
At 10 a.m. So I'm actually keeping you here by giving the interview. Just finally, any special programs of emphasis for today? I do know that when universities do these things, there are programs where they say, this week we're focused on engineering, or we're focusing on health or whatever. I know it's a general open day, but are there any exciting programs of study that you feel prospective students should be considering?
Yes, there's, sorry to say this, guys, there's 3 new courses that have just been launched at RGU, so I would like to give them a sort of shout out if that's okay. And one of them is environmental law in the law school with Joseph.
All right.
And the other one is in the engineering school. So we've got engineering management and a renewables and engineering course as well. So those are new ones. But apart from that, we cover quite a variety of areas from business through the law school, and pharmacy and life sciences are right with us as well.
Wow. Ishmael, just finally, you work in this space. Is the interest in, British education is big globally, it's highly respected. A lot of people, I did my master's in a UK university, a lot of my friends did as well. But look at the way the world economy is. Are we seeing, is the curve going up? Is it flat? Is it down? What's happening? I mean, exchange rate crisis and all of that. What's going on? Are people still as interested in studying in the UK in particular as they did probably a decade ago?
So as you know, I work across multiple countries.
Okay.
So I've got data, and interestingly, UK numbers are still growing very, very, very high.
Wow.
And to the extent that even last year, some schools, universities actually have to defer students who have paid a tuition fee.
Hey.
Just because of the sheer number of
UK
applications.
is very popular.
That is going through. So surprisingly, yes, there are economic, situation here, but again, when economic situation happens, people want to divert to upgrade themselves, to develop themselves, and to be able to, compete, at the next level, and the next opportunities that present itself.
Yeah.
So it's going up. And it is going up, and that's why RGU is here, because what RGU wants to do is that to let Ghanaians know that there is support in Ghana for you.
Okay.
It's because it's one thing reading things online, and another thing going to the RGU office here in Ghana at Best Education Services and getting the right information you need. And particularly when it comes to visas, there are technicalities when it comes to visas, and I'm always proud to say that Best Education have 100% visa success rate on UK applications.
Now, and the other point is that there's a Ghanaian at the highest level there. I don't know, Dr. Mante, I don't know, just your general thoughts about online, because you did say that they had one of the best online programs. So what if somebody's listening? I'm very busy working in a bank, and I don't want to live in Scotland, but I want to do a program. Does this trip also focus on the online masters, or this is purely for in-person?
Yes, I think this trip is focusing on all the programs we offer.
Okay.
Yes, we are looking at those who come in, but we also understand that some may not be able to travel with us to Scotland and may want to join us online. And yes, we will be able to explain how the online program works at Robert Gordon.
Do you have an MBA program?
We do have an MBA
Yeah, we do,
program.
yeah.
Simon is
yes, I teach on the MBA program actually. So technology, innovation, and commercialization. That's the module I teach on that.
And do you do modular MBAs out in addition? Do you have different formats for MBAs? What I mean is there are some MBAs that are 1 year MBA where you go in, taught MBA, and there are MBAs where you do like it's broken into parts when you come for like 6 weeks and then you go back. Do you have all of those?
So our MBA is done just as one big one go.
One big happy family.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's really good. And also, I'm involved with the final part as well, where you do a consultancy project. Wonderful. So again, that's working with a business, getting consultancy skills, and then a lot of our students get promoted afterwards in their MBA from actually doing their consultancy project.
Lots of stuff to run through. So key point: call this phone number to just make an inquiry. 0504 220 272. That's 0504 220 Now, you guys are going to be there from 10 till when?
4.
So it's a whole day?
Yeah, the whole
So even if you haven't set off, you could still get there by midday. Yeah. It's until 4 p.m. Mefimiko Hotel is just in Accra. You can pass through. 5 academics have joined, Julie Anderson and others, to provide all the consultancy you need ahead of your application process for Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, Scotland. Thank you very much, Julie. Thank you, Simon Fraser.
Thank you.
Ismail, it's always good to see you. And Dr. Joseph Mante, who's into construction law. I should be asking you questions about quality of roads in Ghana and bridges and things. You know, so you should make yourself available. Thank you for being on the show. You will. Yes, I know Scotland is cold, but you should be getting more phone-ins through the show.
No problem at all. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So number again, 050-422-0272. 050-422-0272 is the number to call, or simply just go to Mervyn Peak Ambassador Hotel this morning. It's all the way to 4. And you would see men and women wearing nice, what's the color? RGU purple shirts. When we come back, your comments from Parliament are many. Lots of you are still not convinced, although I interviewed 2 members of Parliament about how they got these bills passed. We'll see how your comments will come through. Stay with us.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Breaking news. An Easter sale at a local furniture store is causing a frenzy. Our correspondent Roland is at the scene. Hello, Roland.
Hey, that's mine. Give it back.
Roland?
Yes, I'm here at the Orca Decor sale where there's a 25% discount on everything in the store, and get your hands off that mattress. People are grabbing everything off the shelves, and I said it's mine. Back to you, Sheila. Someone is trying to take my mattress. Hey!
Wow. Well, if you like a good discount, you need to be at the Orca Decor Easter sale from 3rd to 10th April. So head over there, get your 25% discount, and give your home a refresh this Easter. Think home, think Orca.
Bet365 is now officially available in Ghana. When you place a pre-match multi-bet on football, you go get bonus up to 70% to your winnings if your bet is successful. You can choose from markets like full-time results and both teams to score, from selected competitions including the Premier League, Champions League, and much more. Get this great offer when you visit the official site at bet365.com.gh. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Country for sale, apply within. Now Kubel, tell me what I want. I hear them sell off everything. Name your price if the bargain is right. Ooh yeah, with the right connections. You can have anything that you like. Ooh yeah, alright then. You can have anything. Everyone I sell out, sell out. Sell out, sell out. Oh Lord, ooh yeah, look how them I sell out, sell out. Sell out, sell out. Oh, oh, oh. Hey, Jamaica, sell off. Oh, yeah. Airport Donald song star, sell off. Look there, down a wharf. You may think it's a joke, I see no reason to laugh. They be making promises, but all they're doing is talk. I say, with the right connections, you can have anything that you do.
So time check is 9:53. We have lots of comments. Nathan will read through. Before we do that, you can join our fun-packed adventure packages to Dubai this Easter from the 9th to the 17th of April for only 1,350 USD. We also have a Europe tour package, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, France, Switzerland, between the 7th and the 18th of August for only 3,500 euros, including visa assistant, hotel accommodation, tours, ticket, airport transfers, and more. Call Copan Travel and Tours on 055-6965-924. That's 055-6965-924. Or simply call 026-2349-886. Copan Hospitality Tourism at its best. Meanwhile, Standard Water has over 25 years experience in the water space. We have a refreshing water brand that has been expanding quite rapidly. We are in 11 regions of the country, still expanding very well. We have sachet, bottled, dispenser mounted water jar or jar water available for purchase from supermarkets, retail shops, sales delivery trucks for bulk purchase. Call 020-2055-703. That's 020-205-5703.
Tell me what I want. How you make them share.
Now, the Lashibi Funeral Homes and Crematorium, they've been doing this for 21 years, and they will have your back when you need it the most. They offer the most experienced private end-to-end funeral services in Ghana. Call them on 0509-542409 or send them an email info@lashibifuneralhomes.com or visit their website lashibifuneralhomes.com. Lashibi Funeral Homes and Crematorium, dignity for the deceased, comfort for the bereaved. On the upside of life, though, stay for 2 nights and get a third night for free in a standard room for 454 USD or 4,995 cedis for 2 persons at the Maha Beach Resort. The package includes dinner on arrival, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on second day, and breakfast on last day before departure. Free airport pickup service from Friday to Sunday. Complimentary early check-in and late check-out till 1 p.m. subject to availability, and they have other amazing offers. Call them on 0303-977-773 or 0501-570-684 or 0540-124-114 for more details and reservation. sm@maharesort.com. That's the email address, or reservations@maharesort.com.
Watch out for our live coverage of the University of Ghana's 75th anniversary public lecture on the topic restructuring the national economy, the need for a paradigm shift. Guest or speaker is Dr. Al Graham, coordinator for the Third World Network Africa. Discussant Dr. Philip Abradu Otu, Director of Research, Bank of Ghana. Dr. Priscilla Chumesi Bafo, Senior Lecturer, Department of Economics, University of Ghana. Chairperson, Ms. Abna Amwa, Managing Director, Ghana Stock Exchange. Host, Professor Nanaba Apia Amfo, Vice Chancellor. I need to say that the UG at 75 public lectures have been very, very good indeed. And this event is on Thursday, the 6th of April at 5 p.m. at the University of Ghana City Conference Center. I'll be there moderating. We'll be live on Citi TV from 5 to 8 p.m. Live on Citi TV from 5 to 8 p.m. So you're going to hear the full thing. The full lecture by Dr. Yagram will be live on Citi TV. The whole dehu. Then the discussion by Dr. Abradu to Dr. Chumesi Bafo, chairman's remarks, everything will be there. So if you want to understand, there's a lot of talk about economic restructuring from the so-called Gajesburg economy. And I think Dr. Yagram is one of the people best positioned. His work within the PNDC, his work within the Third World Network, his advocacy on important issues on trade, very, very critical indeed. So join us on Thursday, the 6th of April for a live coverage of this event.
They be making promises, But
And the other point we need to make is about the Easter Orphan Project.
Yes.
This Easter Monday, we're going to visit a number of orphanages and we're asking for your help. So as we do every year, bags of rice, gari, beans, maize, foodstuffs, essentially hand sanitizers, detergents, home care stuff. Key point, we can bring these things to Citi FM here in Adabraka or Citi TV at Tesano, or you can send your kind donations via Momo 050-673-7012. That's 050-673-7012. Checks may be made to Citi FM Foundation. You can also call 0302-226-013 for more information. All right, Nathan, a few more comments on the subject of discussion.
Yes. This one says, did I hear the MPP whip say that he sent a bike to fetch the deputy minister from the accident scene? It says pathetic. This one says, Sam George is making excuses for inefficiencies. Okay. Bernard, you could sense from both submissions that they can't speak to the facts. Let's face it, this government and the minority have demonstrated shared intransigence. In summary, there's no justification for what they did to Ghanaians. This one says, Bernard, we are watching and the day of atonement shall come. They should remain seated on their high horses with impunity for now, while we await for when the day of our responsibility shall come. Noel in Sunyai. This one says, what we have just witnessed before our very eyes is an attempt to eloquently seduce us. I'm afraid it will not wash. Kofi from Kaswa. And Danny Inungwa says, don't mind the NDC MPs. They are just trading the interests of the general public for their parochial interest. Tell some just the party agents will also trade at the polling stations in the 2024 elections. And somebody's asking, was Adwoa Safo in Parliament to vote? That's a question.
I understand she was there and that contributed to the final numbers they had.
they think it's a joke, I see no reason to laugh. They be making promises, but all they're doing is talk. I say, with the right connections, you cannot.
Bernard, why do some of you and your colleagues keep blaming the minority for the passage of the bills into law? The minority voted 136, majority did 137. What were you expecting the minority to do? Well, I think we've dealt with this. We spoke to Samuel George, we've asked all the questions. I think the key point had to do with the choosing the head count over the division. And from the way Samuel George explained the division, if you had done the division, as of the time that they expressed concern over the numbers, they would have had the day, because we have reason to believe that if they had done the call, probably the other MP wouldn't have been there. But who knows? Look, they've passed the bill, so we'll deal with the fallout. Thank you for listening. My name is Bernard Avle. I had Sky earlier on in studio, but he left earlier on. We asked Godfred Akotobuafo and Nathan Kwao also helping me out. Branch in the City is next. Before that, Hawa Iddrisu Mustafa, the recently married Hawa Iddrisu Mustafa, has sitting.
Who's married to Mustafa Iddrisu?
You know, you gave a birthday wish last week that has been haunting me a lot. Charlie, you are in the middle of a fast, and yet you are threatening.
But by the time the action will take place,
Charlie,
I've broken your fast.
The kind of text message you sent to your husband that goes through. He said, "This Charlie." No, this matter. After the fast, I will have a meeting with your husband for we'll have a conversation. Let's wait for the thing to end. Then we'll have a discussion. So just tell us what is in the news.
Good morning. Coming up on City News at 10. Member of Parliament